Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Gibbs, touchdown. What a good start for the Lions. Shepard, easy pickup. Forget first down. How about touchdown? There is a flag on the far side of the field. Goff on 2nd and goal. Montgomery gets it, and no call. They're saying he's short. Now the other official says touchdown.
Disappointed with the result on Saturday. Felt like it was a football game that was going to be a great matchup, and a game that we felt like we had a chance to win. As I've said to our players, I think it's really, really important for us right now as a coaching staff and really a football program is a very calculated response. Not to overreact, not to underreact, but just to be very disciplined in the way that we see things. What I've asked our guys not to do is not to settle for the narrative of how we're just a couple plays away. I think that's a deadly, deadly thing when you start saying things like that. I think I showed them probably 45 plays yesterday that could have been the difference in the game. And so for us, this is what the Big Ten is. It's going to be exciting games that come down to the end. And you always have to make one more play than your opponent. We had our opportunities. We didn't get it done.
Good morning. Welcome into Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centrist Federal Credit Union. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. What's up, DB?
How we doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Man, my head's above water. That's about where we're at.
Well, we did get a little bit of rain last night, so that's a plus.
It was crazy. I was up almost all night. I finally fell asleep about 10 after 3 and then had I don't even know how I got to dream state because I don't ever dream.
Yeah.
And it was horrible. It was absolutely horrible.
That's not good.
No, man, I couldn't get back home. I felt like I don't know. I can't remember the exact details of a roofie or not, but I felt like I was in one place and these dudes kept looking in the bathroom and I was at some cabin, but it was a bar. I just remember seeing wood. And these dudes were telling jokes. And for whatever the reason, man, I had Zoe. And I woke up and I had a phone that had extended buttons.
Okay.
It wasn't my phone. And I was like, man. So I called home and I asked you, I'm like, is Zoe there? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, well, where's my car? And she said it's at home. So I'm like, shoot. Then I went back outside.
Yeah.
And I was at a different place. I saw all these I played with a guy in the early 90s, a guy named Bob Bassett.
Okay.
He had a plumbing company, Bassett Plumbing.
No relation to Bo?
Loved him. One of the hardest hitting, toughest. All the way back to Gladiators. I love this dude.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember he had on a Red Sox zip-up hoodie.
Good on him.
And he was like, hey, DB. Marty Brown was there, and he had on this chain. This is so stupid. He had on this chain. He was smoking a Black and Mild. But he was 40. I don't know, man. And I couldn't get out of this neighborhood. And so I walked over to Tony's Veland's.
Okay.
And he's down there with his date. They're eating Chinese. And I was like, hey, man, can I use your phone? I was like, I got to call home. He's like, and he was super mean-spirited. He was like, come on, man. I was like, look, I feel like I haven't been home for days. I can't think straight. And I woke up and I had to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
So I took a tinkle and went back and sat there with my eyes wide open. It was the stupidest thing I've ever seen. You should have seen this phone. I felt like it was attached to this weight thing, like ankle weights.
Oh, yeah.
But in the middle was a phone. And I couldn't figure out how to work it. So I was asking all these people and they're like, oh, you have to pull this thing out. And then the buttons popped up.
Yeah.
They were push down buttons. And I couldn't get out. I don't know. It's really, really dumb. I'm like, of all the times to have a dream, I get that trash.
What'd you eat before bed?
I didn't. I picked over, I had some leftover steak, and then there was They were like these stuffed burrito things were actually pretty good, but I didn't really have much of an appetite, so I angry ate. I threw it away. Then I was hungry.
What were you angry about?
Oh, life. I don't know.
Okay.
I listen. I can make up anything.
I know.
It's kind of. It's how I felt about. It's how I felt about like Nebraska fans. This whole.
Yeah.
This last since Sunday, I don't know, man. It feels like it's crazy. It feels like the toxic relationships that people have, where it's like, well, I'm acting this way because you do this, and then the other person be like, well, I'm acting this way because you do this, and then they both say, well, I just want to be heard, right? That's so you stay in the agitated cycle because nobody will do their own part. Nobody will just say, hey, I need to do this independent of what the catalyst, whatever it was, because that's the only time you have. And I don't know why we act like this is some secret, right? Like, but we just aren't willing to do it. So, like, until Nebraska beats a quality opponent, like the fan base is, some parts of the fan base and media are just going to bitch and moan about the same thing. And until in Nebraska, and whether it's Dylan's comments or whatever, right? Like, they have to understand it's the same way, but through a different lens, right? Because Coach Rhule isn't going to get credit for raising the floor. Yeah. Because he's clearly raised the floor. He's just got to get it to the point where they win games like this. Because all of a sudden we've minimized. I don't know what it is. And I'm listening. 888-638-4876. There's some crazy narratives running around.
Oh,
here.
yeah.
And I'm like, we act like, number one, we can't get to 8. We can't get to 9. The season, like, it's impossible to get better, number one. Which you better pray to goodness the teams that you cheer for don't think like you, because some of this low hanging,
you'd never win a game.
You'd never win a game. It's incredible.
You would never win.
And the funny thing is, back to the toxicity is, it's like, again, I give the analogy all the time when people can't get out of their own way, like they'll convince themselves. It's back to what I told you about, like, we'll believe the narrative that suits our dysfunction, right? So what we'll do is we'll keep saying, well, Nebraska needs to do this, 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 and this. And after they do this, then I'll think like this. And it's like, okay, but you're going to be miserable in the meantime, because that's the epitome of, that's like taking the cyanide expecting somebody else to die, right? And so but the downside of it is we try to put that on everybody else. Yeah. No, keep that to yourself.
You can't just own it, right?
If you want to be like that, that's cool. Yeah. But don't be down on me or him or her or whomever else, because I don't feel the same way you do. Yeah. Like, it's lunacy. And I think, I don't know. I listened to a couple of those answers yesterday, and I left. I wanted to stay. I did. I was already there. I had just seen him for the TV show because he had to do it before media. I didn't really feel like he was in the mood. Made a couple of jokes with Keith, got my bag. I did swing down by the press conference area. By the way, some people get there early. I didn't know you got lunch either. I was today years old.
Yeah, I didn't either. They hook you up over there.
Oh, it's just pizza.
Some media members are very excited about the pizza. We know this.
Yeah, I got into it with Sid. He said, what is wrong with you? I said, man, pizza, like, I don't know.
You're not a pizza guy.
I had some very strong opinions about pizza, and Sip clapped back, and then I bumped into Tom, and I just was like, man, it just.
Tom Chattel?
Yeah. Yeah. I'll be curious. He's got a story coming out a story he wants to do. I'd be interested to see how much digging he does, but I just sometimes, like, it's hard not to be overwhelmed with depression when you cheer for people to get out of their own way. And when they won't, you can build up this resentment because you feel like they like to mire in negativity. Yeah. And maybe that's not really maybe they just don't know any better. You know what I mean? So like when you hear it or you see it or you're listening to these press conferences or you're listening to the players, it's like, because I already think like this is how I process the information. And I get it. That's kind of normal behavior. But when you won't open your mind up to another possibility of a lens, it's like that. The minute you start refuting, before you've even ascertained the information, you're in trouble. Like there's just, I mean, and there's just going to have to be this signature moment, right? Because now all of a sudden it's this, man, it was this winnable game, and you didn't do this, and we don't have this, and we wasted money on that. Like,
oh, we got to fire this guy. And
you're 3-1, and a guy says, "Hey, I asked our staff," and he even prefaced it by saying, "You have to be careful with the head coach as a head coach when you say this, but this is what I said. I said, hey, who's going to be our second running back? Let's get that addressed this week. How are we going to go about doing it?" And then it turns into, he doesn't even know who his second.
It's not what he said. That's not what he said.
No, and I just, and maybe it's because, we play a 3-man rotation outside linebacker, right? I can play any of the 3. Right?
And you feel about the same about all of them. I feel
about the same about all 3.
So it's very dependent on what's been happening that week.
Would you say Coach Ciancia has a good pulse on what he wants us to do?
Yes, I would say so.
If he wanted to tell me what to do you think he could?
Absolutely could.
But he's going to say, hey, what are we going to do with our adjusters this week?
Because you have to, at some point, trust the people you've put in charge of that position.
Yeah, and he's not like, if he wanted to make the decision, he would.
And he could. He was informed enough to make the decision.
Right.
That's the point.
But then Coach Bartell's got to say, hey, well, listen, we had the disciplinary issues 2 weeks ago. We wanted to give Ives a shot because we felt like he sat for 4 weeks but worked his ass off. So we wanted to see where he's at. And Mosey is still trying to get acclimated to full-time running back work when we've got to use him in the slot.
I had to switch him back and forth. Yeah.
We've been kind of hit and miss. Let's get it. I got you.
Yeah.
Like, should he have said all that? Because that's exactly what it is. Should he have said all that?
I mean, if he wanted to avoid
I just used that as an example.
No, I know. But if he wanted to avoid some of the questions about it, sure. But the problem is you kind of got to something there earlier where people at some point are just going to decide how they feel and then process the information however fits how they feel, right? So he could have, if you're dead set on thinking he doesn't have a good pulse on the team, or the running back room is a mess, or we don't like EJ Barthel, or whatever the thing you feel is, then you would take even that amount of detailed information and say, well, what was the disciplinary issue? What's going on in that room that he can't get his guys under control? And if Quentin Ives is good, why haven't we seen him more? Whatever it is, right? Why are we going back and forth on what Mosey, like whatever you decide you have already felt about that is how they would have received the additional information as well. So like at a certain point, you can say as much or as little as you want, and it doesn't really matter if people aren't interested in learning, right? I think there's a lot of people, and listen, I am not. You can feel however you feel. That's fine, right? I'm disappointed in the loss too. Coach Rhule is disappointed in the loss. I don't doubt that for a second. He's probably more disappointed than the rest of us. I feel safe saying that. I am not discouraged by the loss. Those are two different things. I can be disappointed and be like, man. And listen, I like what he said about being 45 plays that needed work instead of 2 or 3, right? Because you could be 4 plays away from winning the game, which I think they were, and be 45 plays away from your standard. And that's what they care about.
That's the part that I actually like, though, because we talked yesterday a couple of times, different times, about how you can't really panic. There's a difference between a coaching lens, media lens, and fandom, right? And you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. He gave an answer yesterday that I felt like, man, that was in our first segment. Almost, it wasn't verbatim, but I mean the gist of it, right? Like you have to figure out, hey, how much of this is really, he said, that's the tricky part. How much of this is scheme? How much of this is, do we need to call this now? How much of this is, do we just need to get the right personnel? We're going to take this week. coming up. We're going to go Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We're going to rep these guys, get them ready. Then everybody else is just kind of going to be a backup.
Mhm.
Like, you could tell, like, that's how you have to do it because you have to play the long game,
Mhm.
right? The immediacy of the solutions isn't going to be, kind of what it is. But since you don't play a game, you have to kind of process through it.
You also,
So I think that like that's the tricky part.
you also,
Hey, Tom, don't be so insecure, bud. It's like you guys act like it's all the fan. Nobody said that. And if you feel like it's you, then it is you. If it's not, then keep it pushing. Like I've said, some people feel like this, some don't. Nobody said all, nobody said none. But the fact that you're the first one to respond and say what we act like, that just lets me know I'm talking to you. To you, Tom. You. Right? If it's not, it's not. Then move on. Then move on. It's cool.
and to be clear, the people I'm most frustrated about that think like this are people like in media, because they have
I'm
like,
not, yeah. Just I mean, this the kind of that's why people get blocked. They listen to defend as opposed to just listen.
Mhm.
Like you're who I'm talking about. Like just process the information. It doesn't have to be you. It doesn't. Doesn't have to be you.
I think there's also, and I'm curious what you think about this, because as he was talking yesterday about figuring some of those things out, whether it's they need to switch the scheme up a little bit, do they want to be? I think somebody asked a really good question. He called it out in the press conference yesterday, where he goes, "Hey, do you want to be that active and run that many stunts on the front?" And he's like, "Yeah, well, that's something we have to decide, right?" That I think is a good question. I also think
I felt like
there were a couple good questions.
There were some really good questions.
I also think one of the things we don't really like to.
Yeah, yep, that's what I am, Tom. Hit us up, 888-638-4876. We can process through it. Then you can decide if you think I'm mad or not. I think I need to be direct so you can't openly interpret what you want to.
I think one of the things we don't.
Why do people confuse clarity with anger?
Yeah.
We're not gonna mince and twist words, and because that's my delivery, doesn't mean I'm angry. It means I don't want to let you off the hook.
There's a thing that we don't really like to admit sometimes, and that is a lot of times you don't know.
Calling me sensitive would be like saying he lacks the ability to comprehend. But I'm not making any sweeping generalizations yet.
Yeah, you're not
just based on what he said.
Going that far as far as to. I think one of the things we don't necessarily like to admit as either a fan base or as media people or whoever is sometimes you do have to get that measuring stick sort of opponent to understand.
So you know what to do?
Yeah, so you know what is actually working and what isn't, right? You can take a lot of positives, a lot of things that are translatable from the Akrons and Houston Christians of the world, but there's some things where you're like, hey, is this going to work against X? And you don't know until you face somebody that looks like that. So I think it is, I know Dylan doesn't like the bye week. I do think it's a good time to have time to figure out, okay, is this a thing that just didn't work because we didn't execute it the way we need to, but we're capable of it? Or is this a thing that we don't think we can do against a opponent the caliber of Michigan?
I feel like we're on stupid pills this morning. Who said the sky is falling? Like, who said that?
Yeah.
Anyway, so like the part of processing through kind of the scheme versus the personnel versus where we're at is I don't know how, like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, they'll be on the road, I think. Thursday, Friday. I imagine they'll treat now the weekend will be tricky because do you want to steal an extra day? You probably could.
Yeah.
But I think you have to like if the desired outcome is to like critique engage, you have to put them in those super competitive positions.
Yeah, like in practice.
Yeah, because I mean that's really the
only way you're gonna tell.
And you know how it was about, hey, there's only so much you could learn. We needed a game. Now you've seen it against elite level competition.
Yeah.
So you kind of got to let the paramedics sort them out, right? Like,
yeah.
Put it in the calendar.
Whatever's left.
And whatever's left that's how you got to roll.
Yeah. So let me ask you this about the bye week and how it typically works, because in your experience, do they usually try and steal an extra day? Is that kind of dependent on situation? Like schedule-wise, how does that usually work itself out?
The comprehension is tough. I said he raised the floor. I got to stop getting distracted by stupidity. Okay, carry on, my wayward son.
Well, I mean, no, let's do this because if you don't think he's raised the floor, I don't know what to say.
I don't know what he's saying. Let's not get too distracted by that.
Okay.
Do you want me to read it?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm not going there. I said, who said the sky was falling? He said, you did. You said the floor. You said, this is for those fans. What? Want me to? Yeah, I do want you to clip it and send it to me, because I said he's raised the floor. We have to decide what that means for the ceiling. Feel free to clip it. And those fans are just those fans. They're not all fans. So I don't get the point. You'd be the same guy to text me later talking about I love you. Anyway, man, the internet persona drives me up the wall. Keep it pushing.
This is what.
Stop.
That's why I have a hard time with certain people. What's the bye week typically look like, or does it depend on?
It depends on the work they got to get done.
Because he said they're going to be on the road for a couple days.
I think not till Thursday night, Friday.
This might be a dumb question. How does like part of the staff stay and you still get like workouts in with the guys? Or
they'll only put so many on the road.
So you can still practice?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like, I saw guys, they were off yesterday, and there were guys in cleats at the facility.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I think it's kind of, it might be open-ended. Maybe there's a workout they want to get in. Maybe there's an active rest day.
Yeah.
Like, I saw a couple of the bigs.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I saw Keys. I saw a handful of guys for an off day.
Yeah.
Probably more than 20.
I'll say you told me you ran into a couple of them.
Yeah. Right, yeah. Which, I mean, make it a work day.
Sure.
So I think it's hard, too, because if you use Sunday as like your regular bring them in day, which I think they did, sometimes during the bye week, you can almost be afraid of active rest. Right? Is 2 days too many? Is 1 day too many? Do I feel like I'm out of? Some guys are just neurotic like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have, obviously, at that level sort of experience with it, but I do remember when I would go into powerlifting meets, I'd have a really hard time gauging how much time I wanted to have off before the actual day versus wanting to stay fresh and at least get a little bit of work in.
And you do kind of have some bad taste in your mouth. Like if he went 40, so there was, what's 54 and 76? It should be easy. 130?
Yes.
So of a 130 play game, if you use, let's say he was generalizing and it's only 40, right? That's a fair amount of clips to be showing of plays to use to get better.
Yeah.
Like that's a long film session.
Yeah.
In my opinion, you know, because even like I just remember going over game tape. Let's say we ran 80 plays. Like offense would just be with offense in their meetings, and defense would be with defense. So if you split up we didn't meet for all 80 plays or all 45 offensive plays or whatever they were. That's a good chunk of time.
I was like, ballpark, what are we talking about? Any idea? Like how long that would take?
Ooh, boy. It depends on the staff.
I mean, obviously you can dwell on something or you can move past it pretty quick, but I don't, you know.
9. So the other day, 9 plays could take us 35 minutes.
Okay, so a couple hours.
Again, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, it's a long film session.
And there's probably hurt your feelings too.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to love it.
Good, which is kind of good though.
Yeah, you have to.
Right? Because, I mean, I'm just telling you, like a guy that I told you this story, right? Where I ran out of bounds. And he's like, you don't get paid enough? And he just kept playing it over and over and over and over and over. I mean, it had to be 10 times.
Yeah.
In front of like 14 other people.
Yeah.
10, 11, 12.
Exactly. that are at your position group, it's like, yeah, I ain't running out of bounds again.
I was just trying.
You know, it's
I
I'm telling you, man, we would come out of these meetings and
Yeah.
it would be like we hated the world.
Yeah.
And so that's why I think you see guys at the facility, which is fine. Like there's a fine line between, not being able to let it go and wanting to get it better.
Yeah.
Get it better.
Between like motivating versus debilitating a little
Because
bit.
you don't want to be consumed by the negativity. But I mean,
You do want to get better though.
yeah. I mean, listen, I go back. Jess asked me something last night. She was alluding to it on text, and I couldn't remember what I said during the broadcast.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to go back and they found it for me. And I was talking about winning on the perimeter, how I felt like Michigan was playing downhill.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, roughly about that same time, DeKeel Shorts was saying the same, because, she's like the ears and the sidelines, and he was saying the same thing. So I kind of sat on it for a second. Then that's when I went back and looked at the solo tackle stats.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because there's a handful of times where you'll watch something during the game. It happened last night, and Montgomery just refused to let tacklers get to his legs.
Yeah.
Right. And I think as a back, I can just hear coaches, Cardinals, Coach Sosa's a big Cardinal sin guy, right? So Cardinal sin, let guys get to your legs in the open field, or don't let the punter. There were just things it was just taboo.
Yeah.
Right. And so it further drives me crazy when I see DBs come in low. Like I come from the trauma for a long time.
Yeah.
Right. And so when I see 40 solo tackles and guys are out in space, that's not good.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's just no other way around it, because
you're just losing too many one-on-ones.
Yeah. Because I think for all the hand-wringing we do about, well, why would he call this play, or why would he call this offensive play or that play? Again, at the end of the day, I just think for coordinators,
you're trying to get them into
the best job you can do is to get mano-a-mano. You can't scheme touchdowns.
Yeah. You scheme opportunities to beat a guy one-on-one.
Yeah. I mean, you have like your pet two-point conversion plays, and like you do have your third and longs, or, your first down shot plays. But, I mean, for the most part, the job is to – it was a real fine line I felt like he walked, and we'll get to some of the clips after we take a break. It was a real fine line Coach Rhule walked, where sometimes you just want to say, hey, man, guys got to make plays.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes he'd come back and say, we got to take a look at how we're actually calling the game too. Mm-hmm. Right? Like that matters. And who's in the game.
Yeah.
And when you've empowered your staff to do certain things, like he made these little, he would allude to things like, hey, let's get this guy going. Or, hey, what about this guy? Mm-hmm. Or when we look at these guys in this package, let's get he's suggestive hinting more than suggesting.
Yeah. Well,
right? He's saying, hey, listen, we got to get X guy ready, or this guy ready, or like, what about this guy? Mm-hmm. Right? I thought the red shirt thing was fascinating. The 5 for 5. Man, listen. You think my foot didn't hit the gas on the interstate a little different? I was like, damn it. Wait a couple years on that, I hope.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like it was a lot, but there were good questions, so I felt like he got a chance to expound. Doesn't mean we can handle what he said.
The information.
I do feel like the questions, they were legit.
I think the debate you have to have with yourself, and it's the whole thing we're talking about, is, okay, are you convicted that the way you're calling the game can be executed by the guys you have out there? And if it's not, are there guys that you can put out there that can do it, or do you have to change how you call the game?
Yeah, and I'm not always sure on the order.
Sure, but
right? Because,
some version of that.
Because we've had head coaches before, right, that will tell you, I know this works. We're doing this.
Yeah.
And I can think of two particular instances. One was a guy's offense. The other was a guy how he wanted to play along his defensive line.
Mm-hmm.
And when you stop getting those kinds of defensive linemen, you missed on a recruiting year. Like you almost had to reevaluate your scheme.
That was Bo with the squatty bodies, right?
Yeah. Whether he could still two gap and play bracket.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
And we were getting so frustrated because we're like, oh man, it's funny. It's all cyclical. Sometimes we give up 6 yards pass. Oh, we're too far off, guys. And then some other coaches, they get 4 yards every time they run the ball. And so, we go through kind of what we see as our weakness. So there's that. And then there was the type of spread power offense that I think Coach Frost wanted to run where when you lack the athleticism and development up front for
compared to who
guys,
you're playing,
you can't. Some of those you just can't.
It's not going to work.
You can't really pull it off.
Mm-hmm.
Scheme is sound, it works.
Yeah.
So, and that's why I always say, like, when you have really high level thinkers that have had success, the difference between how, what, and why is so crucial.
Mm-hmm.
if you're not asking those questions, so I don't actually mind that he asked those questions out loud, because I think if you're really a lifelong learner, like you're willing to take input. Now, when you need to drop hammer,
you have to. Yeah,
you just will. Right?
I appreciate that he's willing to talk through that openly. I know
you're going to get stuff like what happened yesterday.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times did you see the Mahomes thing?
A million.
You have to know when you say that.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's gonna get play. You just have to be built.
I also know
a certain way
that it probably, like, again, he's not talking to us on that one. I think he's talking to national media, and I think he's talking to I don't think this is private. So when Avarie had her sit down with Dylan over the summer, right? She had a one-on Avarie Howard from Hurrdat Sports had a sit down, a one-on-one with Dylan that we posted. And I think it was in there. He was talking about how so many of the national people, when they come in, they ask him about the Mahomes thing. And so I think it's as much for the people that deal with them on a week-to-week basis as it was for anyone else. And it certainly was for the morons like Tom Fornelli out there. Who
was the guy everybody was mad at this week that doesn't really do football?
Is it Tom Fornelli? Because that
I don't think so. That doesn't ring. If somebody said it, it would ring a bell.
Because that dude's being real dumb this week.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like aggressively stupid.
And sometimes those guys, like, they just clap back at. I mean, they're going to be human too, right? They're going to clap back if you come at them. Or is he openly?
This is on his own.
Oh, okay.
He started this.
So who's the guy I'm thinking of?
I'm not sure. But all I know is so Fornelli put a video out after the game.
Does Palmer sound right?
I'm not sure.
Come on, you guys. HBO. Help a brother.
He put a video out after the game talking about after the Michigan game. He's somehow after the Michigan game, he decides he's out on Dylan Raiola. And
was that the guy with the beard and the glasses?
Right. Yes.
Oh, that dude was so bad.
This is a worse clip. This is a worse clip than even the Mahomes one. Go ahead and play it, guys.
I fast forwarded. Okay, yeah, let it ride.
This isn't the Mahomes one, but this is the one that came right after it. Go ahead, guys.
I think Bryce Underwood at this point knows more about reading what a defense is doing before the snap than Dylan Raiola does, because I think Michigan's offense actually forces you to do so. Whereas in Nebraska's offense, you're only reading what your one player does.
The guy that was.
So that's why when you're Dylan Raiola, you don't even notice that corner is there, and you drop back, and without even ever looking, you turn to your right to throw the pass, and you throw it directly to the Michigan defensive back because you never saw it.
Listen, if he waits another split second sooner, he's going to see that slant come open.
Yeah, well, I think it was key on the inside.
So, I mean, listen, you win some, lose some, but to arbitrarily pick that one versus I'm far, like, I think my track record will help with this. Like, I've never been overly effusive.
No.
On talking about quarterback play from Dylan. I just try to go with what I see, right? Or I'll talk about fitness or scrambling for first downs. I won't make any crazy judgments. He's playing at a high level, though. And he's playing from the quarterback position, he's playing at a really high level. And that his play pre-snap would be the least of my concerns.
So that's the thing.
That you can pick at some other things.
So that's what I was going to say.
That would be the least of my concerns that I would talk about with this quarterback.
If
play.
they're like, listen, if you want to,
I didn't know that's who that was.
If you want to be critical of certain things about Dylan Raiola, listen, what did I come in with yesterday? I was like, hey, really need you to figure out how to climb the pocket a little bit better. I think there were opportunities there to keep plays alive a little bit longer, not trying to.
I mean, does he really think Underwood is breaking down what's happening before or better than
I don't
DR?
know how you can watch what happened. I don't know how you can, and listen, maybe he's just a clip watcher. I don't know. But he's got a football podcast that has.
Yeah, he might have just been messing with this.
That has
I did not know who that's
120,000 followers.
That's not
on
even
Twitter.
the guy I was talking about.
This
guy doesn't do football.
So I don't know how you can watch anything Bryce Underwood or Dylan Raiola and think that Dylan's either pre-snap or defensive coverage reads are any part of the issue.
Yeah.
I mean, he's leads the Big Ten in passes. He's top 10 nationally in pass attempts, and he's got one interception.
Yeah, I didn't even like, it's just funny too, because some of that stuff I just skip over.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's like we always go on the offensive, and then these guys get mad at us, and then we're like, well, why are they mad at us? Well, sometimes we need to chill too.
I'm not chilling about that. That's as dumb as it gets.
Take that with a grain of salt, man.
Here's the thing, though. No, because here's the thing.
No,
hold on.
Because
you tell me all the time, don't let people off the hook.
But you got to pick and choose your bet. Like,
No.
he's clearly not in the know. You can't be baited
Here's
by that.
here's the problem, though.
This dude clapped at
He
me.
might not be in the know, but people listen to him.
Okay.
And I can't let him off the hook. There's 120,000 people that follow his podcast on Twitter, and 100,000 more follow
you can't
him
get 'em
personally.
all, babe.
No,
You
but
can't.
that's one worth getting. Because if there are that many people that think that guy knows football, we have a problem. Because we're sitting here, listen, and you're right. If you want to say, and he said something in a previous video, he's like, he doesn't step into a lot of throws. Sure, I could see that. Now he's still dropping dimes, but okay. Like, listen, if you want to say at some point he's going to need to step into a throw to feel better about it, that's cool. But here's the problem. You cannot tell me,
Josh.
I'll get to Josh in a second. You cannot tell me you've watched any kind of football. And listen, a lot of people listen to that guy about football. That's why I can't let him off the hook.
Some research, but
that's why I can't let him off the hook, because too many people listen to that podcast for me to sit here and for him to tell people. And guess what? It's just like your Bryce Underwood mobile quarterback narrative. Until 2 weeks ago, that dude was not running the football.
Yeah.
Right? But now it's going to become a thing that, Bryce Underwood actually better at processing defenses than Dylan Raiola, because Tom Fornelli, dummy with the glasses, told me so. And here's the thing. That guy, listen, I didn't play football, right? You can learn things. You have an obligation, if that's what your job is, to try and learn and try and do better. I know more now than I did 2 years ago because I went out and I tried to learn. You can't sit there and tell me you've tried to learn anything about football if you think Bryce Underwood, who could not figure out.
I think his intent, I think people that do that nationally, I mean, we've seen it for years, and we always get mad.
I am going to get mad, always. Because if
I'm
you're
not going to pretend anymore. I'm not going to sit there and think it's going to get, he's just annoying.
Play it, guys, play it.
The stuff he does, where he's just running left and flipping away with his right when he doesn't have to. And it just drives me insane, because it's like, you remember how everybody started, when Steph Curry first became a thing, and they were saying Steph Curry's ruining basketball because now all kids want to do is chuck 40-foot threes. Yes. Patrick Mahomes has ruined quarterbacking because now all these kids want to do all this stuff like Patrick Mahomes. And now obviously Dylan takes it to a very different level than everybody else, but he's trying all these stupid sidearm wrist flicky throws. He never steps into a damn throw, even when he's got a clean pocket. He just sits with his bases completely still, and he just tries to fling it with his arm. It's horrible. And the fact that they let him get away with it repeatedly and nobody tries to fix it or punish him for it, it drives me insane. If I'm a Nebraska fan, I would be out of my mind. You're not going to win with your quarterback trying to make all these cool throws instead of just making the damn play that's there. Yeah,
so here's the problem, though. There's a point in there about, hey, maybe we step into throws a little bit. Here's the problem. Every single play, and that's his video, the plays that were under there is him, not us. His people put that together. Is him just dropping dimes on every single play that he's not sacked. Like every single play. It was the play early to Barney where he gets out of
it. I got him.
Yeah. It was the play to, I believe it was whoever was down the sideline when he goes out wide, shakes the defender. Yeah, down to Key on that one. It was the other one down to Barney where Barney gets smoked down by the goal line. It was the one to Lindemeyer early where he scrambles out, throws back across his body, and Lindemeyer gets 20 yards. Like every single play he's talking about worked. Yeah. And here's the thing. You might have real issues about like, hey, and you said this last year. You said this since last spring. Really love to see him step into the ball a little bit. That's fine, right? But you can't tell me that, A, you're out on Dylan Raiola and it's because of the Mahomes stuff, which is why I brought it up with the Matt Rhule thing and why I think Matt Rhule is talking to guys like that idiot, because you can't, like, he literally is just mad that the guy sort of looks like Patrick Mahomes. That's it. Like, we heard Brandon talk about it yesterday. He trains.
I thought that was an interesting take.
I thought it was a great take.
But I forget he is down. Like, he lets me know when they're down there.
Yes. Like, he sees them more than just about anybody in those situations together. Yeah. Like, this is why it matters. Because, A, he obviously doesn't watch football. He's just working on narratives. But people think he hosts a podcast called Cover 3. If I tell you I host a podcast called Cover 3, you think we might get into like some football nitty-gritty? Yeah. And then you hear him say things like Dylan Raiola doesn't process defenses as well as Bryce Underwood. And you'd be like, oh, well, if I'm just a fan and I'm trying to process, I'm trying to get more information, I'm trying to learn more, that's why he can't be left off the hook. He has too big of a platform to say stupid stuff and get away with it. And listen, he'll probably never hear this, but if any of the people that we listen to also listen to that guy, you have to know he doesn't know what he's talking about. There is no world in which Bryce Underwood today is better at reading defenses than Dylan Raiola. And there's also no way that Dana Holgorsen is asking Dylan Raiola to do less than true freshman Bryce Underwood is currently being asked to do.
Primetime, 18U 2022. He said, Rhule said about 45 plays. Is that a concern? Are the players not dialed in? And so are the players not dialed in? Shane, you have to bold that because I'm blind as all get out. Or is this is the coaching not clear to players? Somewhere there's a disconnect. Thoughts? No, not. I mean, if I like, it depends. Glass half full, glass half empty. If it's 45 plays and it's 23 on offense and 22 on defense, or however they break it down, that's not that many at all. So, you know, in a game like that, I don't know. I don't think that's a ton. I don't think any of our players would think. I don't think players would think that's a ton, especially if it's offense and defense. Now, if you've ran 75 plays as an offense and 45 on an offense, it's probably a lot.
I took it to mean, and this is why I brought up the distinction between.
He was saying that it wasn't just 4 things, right? He's saying there's lots of things that was my point yesterday about kind of being bothered. And I said, it's just a trigger for me when people only point at the egregious stuff that people do. And they say, oh, you got a gift, like a drop or a personal, like play.
That's what happens.
Coaches and players, they don't think about it like that. We do, cause it's the easiest thing to see. Right. And it's like, it's like, you know, if I'm at UCLA, you talk about trauma. Like if I'm at UCLA and I fumble the first one and I get it back, and then I fumble the second one and I get benched, like I you know what I want to say? Hey man, but I lost one.
Yeah.
Guess what? Don't work like that. Right? That's something that I know better. There are hustle fumbles. That's not the same as me going the wrong way though, right? Like I did on the first series.
Well,
so you going the wrong way didn't really hurt us. But that's no different for me. 42 versus 48 counter sweep is no different than a dude taunting because he lacks self-control.
It's a discipline issue.
They're the same thing.
And let me ask you this.
One is just easier to see than the other.
Let me ask you this. And this is maybe too personal, and you can tell me to F off.
There is no – man, you know what I've been through?
I know. How much of you getting pulled in that game had not to do with the fumble, but how you practiced that week before the fumble?
It's all about how I practice.
Right. If you had a great week of practice and you'd been dialed in and you fumbled,
I don't even really remember what we did that week.
You go back in, right?
Yeah. 100%,
right.
100%.
So that
and I think the way that I practice made it easy to sit me, which is why
that's what I mean.
I also liked when he said, "Hey, you know how we deal with guys when they come back and when they don't." the whole dance with the guys that bring you. How do they practice the trust thing? Like, I get that too.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
that's why it's important. Like, it's not just about the one thing. It's about what has led up to that one thing, right?
Yeah.
How much do you trust a guy? And then, listen, if you're iffy on like, hey, I think this guy practices better, but I need a different look.
That's the difference. You want the truth?
Yeah.
That's the difference between EJ and Mackay. That's why EJ gets more grace, because he trusts him more.
And because
it's not because he thinks he's markedly better.
It's
because I think I know what that guy's going to do, play in, play out more than that guy.
And not just on Saturdays.
No, 100%. Let's get to Derek. Shane, punch up Derek and see what my man Derek has to say. Derek, good morning. Welcome into whatever this is that we're doing. How are you? How are things?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good.
Hi.
Out in western Nebraska.
There
nice.
we go.
All right, like 308 Western Nebraska, or Western Nebraska like Gretna?
Like Panhandle, western Nebraska.
Nice. Like Binkelman? Where you at?
Alliance.
Oh, nice.
Oh, there we
That
go.
is a jaunt. Good. All right.
Appreciate you listening from western Nebraska, Derek.
What's up, D?
Hey, I think I wanted to comment on some of the tackling sorts of things. I think what the main, first of all, overall, I want to say that I think we made a lot of progress being in this game and not being like Illinois looked against Indiana. So I'm pleased with that, but I think we just got outplayed, like position to position. If you did like one of those grades they do for soccer, like their safety was better than our safety.
Yeah.
Their linebacker was better than our linebacker, or they just played better, with the exception of maybe Dylan and Deshaun McCullough and Ja'Cory.
That was a Ja'Cory Barney for
I
sure.
think a lot of the game you could break down to, they made the play that we didn't make. Like their running back made our safety miss. Their safety made the tackle. And I think most of the time we were in similar positions for the game.
I
just those few plays.
I like your delivery too, right? Because you come across as like even keeled. So do you want to hear a coach? Do you want to hear a coach say, "Hey, this guy's just got to make the play," or do you want to hear him say, "Hey, we got to coach better"? Like, what? So what could somebody say in a presser that lets you know that they're seeing what you're seeing?
Well, I think one of the examples for this that I don't know if I agree with or not is when he said, "We're going to go for 4th and 1 every time."
Yeah, the analytics thing did bug some people. Okay, that's understandable.
What I think he's trying to do is instill a mindset in the team that we're an aggressive team, kind of like the Riverboat Ron Carolina era.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that I think is interesting is I don't know if 4th and 1 is a strength of this team. Like we didn't make it against Houston Christian. So I think if he's playing the long game, I'm okay with that. If you're looking at just this situation, I don't know if that was a good play call or not, or a good way to go about it.
I like the context that you said that too. I would handshake Mimi on that.
Yeah.
But I like the aggressiveness. So I think in some of those, if you can say our guys are in the right spot, they just have to make the play.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's fine. I think sometimes you get to the kind of like you're talking about earlier, where at the end of the Bo era, you just see exactly that same play that they ran for the touchdown, where they motion the guy out, the linebacker follows, and there's nobody to catch him.
Yeah.
Like you saw that play over and over and over and over, and Bo never changed. The defense always looked the same. So I think the jury's out on that.
Wow.
But overall, I think if we can get our guys however we can get them to make the plays that Michigan seemed to make 95% of the time, I think we'll be all right.
Shout out Alliance. I appreciate the call.
Good call, Derek.
See, it's
a good call.
And it's not just it is an opinion, but it's pretty well thought out too.
I really appreciate.
I do like what he said about playing to the strengths, though.
So I really like the 4th and 1, what the analytics tell you versus what the strengths of your team are.
Yep.
Because he's right. And this is the issue I have with 2-point conversions, right? Because a lot of times people are like, oh, the math says go for 2 this amount of times and whatever. Sometimes people like Nebraska right now is not good from inside the 5, right?
Well, they haven't been good in short yardage.
Yeah.
Period.
So, but especially, and they've really struggled.
It's magnified
Inside
the
the 5.
smaller the field is.
So if you were to tell me, hey, the math tells me that Nebraska should go for 2 after every touchdown, I'd be like, okay, that's the math for all of college football. Nebraska's this specific team, that's not a good strength of theirs. You should probably take the 1 point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I get what he's saying there with because I like the aggressiveness too. If he's just like, if Coach Rhule just said, hey, that's not a strength of ours, we got to take points, I get it.
I apologize.
Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was guilty of what bugs me that I was listening to respond. Do you see any difference between running toss and RPO flipping it out to a number 2?
Just in, I think, how it affects the defense. In terms of like aggressiveness and stuff, I don't. I think RPO is much harder for the defense to defend. Yeah. And so I would rather run that because I think it puts the defense in a bind.
Then like lining up and running toss.
Yes, personally. But I also am the one that I like options on the goal line because
you need another way to get the ball to the perimeter.
Yeah. I thought, honestly, this is what I said on the fourth down call. I thought it was a good play call. I thought Dylan made the wrong decision to give it to Lindemeyer instead of Emmett. Emmett was open on the outside. If he flicks that thing out there, that's a touchdown.
Yeah.
I thought he just made the wrong call. I thought maybe he predetermined what he thought was going to happen on that play, or maybe he was like, first reads Lindemeyer, he's open. I think he can get through for the yard, maybe. But I like plays on the goal line that give you options because, you're probably otherwise you're just guessing what they're going to do, right? And on the goal line, there's not enough space to kind of make up for it. So if you have an RPO, this is why I like the bootleg a lot.
Well, that's kind of why I wanted them to just flip it to Mosey sometimes, in that orbit motion out of 2-back run game.
Sure.
Because once you do, then
you have to honor it.
Yeah, you make my adjusters play differently.
Absolutely, yeah.
And just downhill.
You kind of have to set that up, which it seemed like they did early, but then they didn't go back to it, right? Maybe I know they gave it to Mosey once. Maybe they didn't like how it looked, so they left it.
Sometimes you just have to flip it out there to him. Yeah. You need something to keep the guys, the adjusters, honest with coming forward.
Yeah.
If you let me just read and react, I get to do the dictating on defense.
Especially if you have really good athletes, becomes a problem. Like on defense, if they got really good athletes,
there was really nothing to slow their safety play down.
So that's why I was going to bring this up. When Coach Rhule said they went to a lot of RPO in the fourth quarter, you saw everyone on Michigan slow down.
Yeah.
There's a reason that Dylan picked things back up again because first half he did pretty good. Third quarter was a little slow. Fourth quarter, they went to a bunch of RPO, and you could tell it slowed the rush down. So all of a sudden in the fourth quarter, the offensive line looked okay, right? For the most part. All of a sudden in the fourth quarter, seemed like guys were a lot more open. You know what? Because if you hold them there for that half second on the RPO, you have a lot more time and a lot more space. So I like that on the goal line too. I like options. That's why I like the bootleg rollout, because if you've got even a sort of mobile quarterback, you either have to pick him up and make him throw the ball, or he can walk in.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Let's get to TK real quick before we take our first break and Austin and Rico kill us. TK, what's going on, bud?
Good morning, fellas. How we doing?
What's up, buddy?
Before we start having a spirited discussion, I want to ask about the number 1 overall player in the Nebraska 2028 recruiting class. How's my boy been playing?
He's far from the number 1 player, but I hope so. He's good. He's good. He saw as good a tandem of wide receivers as he's seen up to this point at Bellevue, and Johnson is really good. And he gave him fits, but I think he got a lot better. He should have got a personal foul. They gave it to another guy on our team because he was fighting with Johnson. But outside of that, man, he's good. He's going to be all right. He's competitive.
Good. And Kale's doing okay in the protocol.
Yeah, he's hanging in there.
It can be a monster. You can either be in there for 3 days or 3 weeks.
Man, let's hope it's not the latter, because
I'm praying for 3 days.
There's plenty of opportunity, so I'm just it's hard. It's very stressful to not want to rush it. Like, it's giving me a headache to just relax and know that it's not on my time.
Right. Well, make sure to keep him in our prayers.
I appreciate you.
Now, I have to call and support Ravi, but I also have to sting Ravi a little bit.
All right, what do we got?
Hey, it's
because
gonna be hard to
Tom
top.
Fornelli
Gonna be
got
hard
really
to top
angry.
Derek's call, man. He gave me a dose of reality with a sprinkle of realism. That was a good call.
Well, dang it, I missed Derek's call because I was sitting here in the whole music of death.
You'll have to go back.
I don't even know
You'll
what
have to
that
go
sounds
back
like.
and get it. What's up, TK? What's going
You
on?
should call it one day, DB, and sit there for
No,
like
Shane's
10,
put me
15
on hold.
minutes.
Like I've been on the road or like I'm going down to Lincoln or something, and I'll call. I can't even remember what I hear though. To be honest, I'll have to pay better attention.
Okay, so Tom Fornelli and the Cover 3 podcast, they were one of the people who were pushing all the DJ Lagwin and Arch hype.
Oh, I know.
I think Tom Fornelli took out his frustrations that, his Illini got dog walked.
Is he an Illinois guy?
Kurt Signetti. Yes, he is an Illini fan.
Oh,
He's an Illini writer.
Okay.
So he took that out on Nebraska fans, and the last thing I heard you guys talk about was you were trying to tell us to take the high road and not fight take every battle. Stevie, that's the last thing I heard.
Yeah, we get into a lot of national folks.
So, my view of it is if we're gonna be talked about anyways because we get clicks and we can't stop that, we might as well make it suck for them. We might as well ruin their lives.
Jeez.
I'm here for it, TK.
Like how they want it, they don't want, Akron, you don't want to come take the money. Don't come take the money. Refuse to play us. Hey, refuse to talk about us online and talk bad about us because we will make your life suck. And just the Ravi thing. So is Kurt Signetti a pretty good coach now?
He's always been a pretty good coach. I just don't like him. There's a difference. Like Dan Hurley might be the best coach. Like Dan Hurley might be the best coach in college basketball. I wouldn't pee on him if he was on fire to put him out. Like it's not he's a bad coach. There's a couple things here, TK. I can dislike a guy and think he's a bad coach. I can like a guy and think he's a good coach. I can like a guy and think he's a bad coach, and I can dislike a guy and think he's a good coach.
TK, can I just tell you this? And I think you know this about me now.
Yes, sir.
And you can put this on a T-shirt. I don't move on from things and move on from people because I'm trying to teach them a lesson. I move on from things and move on from people because I've learned my lesson. That's the difference. I'm not. Why is that funny? It's the honest to God truth.
No, I believe you.
Like I'm not trying to teach lessons. It's because I've learned my own. That's the space I operate in under TK.
Okay.
Are we cool with that?
Well, I'm cool with it.
All right. I care. I do actually respect your opinion. I care about what you think. I needed your blessing.
Listen, I'm still trying to teach lessons.
Yeah, I'm not.
You told me not to let people off the hook, DB. We're out here.
Well, it needed context, and I appreciate the call, TK. That was for like you would just be real dismissive. You'd say, "Oh, that's just such and such, or that's just such and such, or that's just how they think." And I'm like, so like, why do they not have to get better?
All right. Well, I'm telling Tom Fornelli, you gotta get better
again
because I'm coming for you.
It's because I've learned my lesson, not because I'm trying to teach you one.
I haven't learned my lesson yet, so I'm going to teach in the meantime. That's DB. I'm Ravi, Lulla. We will be back with our guy Brett Ciancia here on Hurrdat Sports Live.
We asked fans to say something nice about each other. Let's see what everybody has to say.
I would say the one thing I like about Michigan is Taylor Lewan.
This place has been great. Everybody's really nice to us.
Nebraska has the nicest people. Go Big Red.
Well, I'm glad they beat Alabama a couple of years ago.
Just a volleyball school, and that's all there is to it.
Say something nice about Michigan? No, there's nothing really nice about Michigan.
Not even the lakes?
Never been there, so never plan on going, never will. If I had to say it, though, I would say Michigan. What is good about Michigan?
The reason that we came is because all of the Michigan fans who have ever been to Lincoln say this is the best place for away fans. And that's actually why we came. Everybody's really nice. They say, have a good game even though we're the opponent. So The Huskers have a great reputation in Ann Arbor, which is where we're from.
Today's Fan on the Street was brought to you by Warhorse Sportsbook and Casino.
Imagine your first dream home and the feeling of walking inside for the first time. With Centrist Federal Credit Union's First Time Home Buyers program, you are at the doorstep of bringing your vision to life. Welcome home. From your neighborhood mortgage experts, Centrist Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Now, the owner of Pick Six Previews, Brett Ciancia.
And a pass is picked off. Pick six. Pick six to the checkerboard end zone.
Pick Six Previews, the #1 most accurate college football preview.
Go, big man, go. It's a pick six.
Pick Six Previews with Brett Ciancia.
Pick six.
Pick Six. Give me all of it. Here is Brett Ciancia.
Kicking off hour number 2 here on Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centrist Federal Credit Union. That's DB. I'm Ravi, Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. We're joined now by Brett Ciancia of Pick Six Previews. Brett, how are we doing this morning?
Hey guys, doing great. Thanks for having me on. We got what I'm calling cancel your plans weekend coming up. It happens once a year. It's cancel your plans 2025.
All right, I got to assume. No, I don't want to get to it yet. Hold this thought. I'm going to assume it starts with Oregon and Penn State, but I'm going to put that on the back burner just so I can get a couple of quick recaps. We good there?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So who do you think we know more about today? Georgia or Indiana?
I think we know more about Indiana, and I think that they really impressed me Saturday night against Illinois. Just a really complete game, and what we know about them is they look like last year's Indiana team. With Georgia, it's still up in the air. I know they played a great game against Tennessee. We saw their offense shine, but I want to see more from Georgia's defense. They did give up 41 points to Tennessee, so I want to see this defense that's stacked with 11 5-stars on the two deep. I want to see them really lock down an opponent, a Power 4 opponent. We're only 3 games in for Georgia, but with Indiana, I feel like I know what we have, and that's a legit top 15 team, maybe a top 10 team, and they look like they picked up right where they left off last year.
I've got another one for you. Who do we know more about, Texas Tech or Oklahoma?
Wow. I'll go Texas Tech. I think maybe I'm answering the question wrong, but I think looking at the conference strength around them, I think within the Big 12 context, I think we know that Texas Tech is a top team. They're at least a top 2 team within that league. They really showed it, and they really upgraded in the trenches. You listen to Kyle Whittingham after the game, Utah's head coach, and this is a program that's what they do. They win the line of scrimmage. He was stunned that they weren't able to do that against Texas Tech. I think his quote was something like, if you would have told me that, I wouldn't have believed it in a million years that we would have lost the line of scrimmage at Texas Tech, but it happened. And so I think I know what we have with Texas Tech now. All that oil money went to good use. Even their backup quarterback, Will Hammond, came in and played excellent. So I know that they're a top 2 team in the Big 12. Oklahoma, they look awesome too, but I don't know where they fall in this crowded SEC. They could be top 3. They could be top 8. I don't know yet. So it's such a deep conference there.
All right. Well, let's just stay with this know more about it. And they're going to get a chance to figure it out here on the 4th. But let's shoot your shot a little early. The Canes or the Noles? What do we know more about?
I know more about Miami right now. They've done it against 2 opponents, and Florida State's done it against Alabama. And that's still one of the best wins of the year. I think Alabama is going to continue to be a solid team and a solid win on that resume for Florida State. But with Miami, we've seen it now against three legit teams. Notre Dame in the opener, and what was thought to be the best offensive line in America coming in. Miami's defensive line with Ruben Bain, Akeem Mesidor, Justin Scott, defensive tackle. They dominated that 4th quarter and got after CJ Carr to seal the game. So that stood out to me in that game. Then they go out and they dominate another. I know they were ranked at the time USF, and then Florida last week they pulled away in the fourth quarter. So they've done it now against 3 legit opponents, and I'm going to go with them. Not only the defense I talked about, but offensively, one of the best receiver stables in the country. Carson Beck looks sharp. So I'll go with Miami that we know more about. I can't wait to see that October 4th game, though, guys. I'm a little bit on the younger side. I missed out on the 80s and 90s, all those great matchups between Miami and Florida State. But I want to see it now. It's rare that they're both at the top of their game the last 10, 20 years, but it looks like that's the case this year.
Yeah, it hasn't been a great run for anybody who might be, kind of a closet Florida State fan over here.
All right, they look much improved this year compared to what anybody thought they'd be. So I know we're only 3 games in, but they look like a legit playoff contender within that ACC context.
Relative to how they both seem to want to burn the place down on their way out, and some of their analogies, I don't know which was worse, the spouse analogy from Gundy or the why do we have different standards from Sweeney. But from a coach's burning it down on the way out, obviously Dabo has the better chance to go someplace else, right?
Yeah, I think that, we look at how they've branded themselves, and I think that Mike Gundy really just became Oklahoma State's guy. He always was. He was their quarterback back in the 80s, really a lifelong coach there. I think that's his spot. I just can't envision him somewhere else, putting on a different polo, a different visor. I just can't see it. But with Dabo, yeah, I can envision that. If Clemson ends up running him out of Clemson, which would be shocking, but if that's the case, he even said at one of his press conferences, he says he ain't going anywhere. Yeah, he's only, I think, 55.
Yeah, he said 55. I'll get him. Why do you get his approach the last couple of weeks?
I think it's just he's shocked. I don't think that he had anything ready for these kind of performances. I think we're all shocked. I know that he's being paid millions of dollars. He should have maybe a more professional response ready, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think anybody envisioned this. You can give me the LSU loss in the opener. I mean, that's an SEC opponent, a top 10 team. I get it. It was a 1-score game. But this Syracuse loss, you're coming in with Syracuse, one of the worst ACC teams in the country, at least on paper in the preseason. That's why you play the games and credit them and credit Fran Brown. Got them playing well. But still, this is far from a playoff contender or a national champion contender that they just got blown out by. So I'm shocked. He's probably shocked. He probably doesn't have anything prepared for something like this. It's his first 1-3 start there since 2004, 20 years. And that's well before him. So, yeah, I'm shocked by it too.
Can I just say, once you get to the point of I'll find another job or fire me if you want to.
And then he said almost the exact opposite about I love this place. I've given everything to this place. There's not a day I have. It was just the week by it just seems to kind of, I don't know. And you're right. Maybe it is, Brett. Maybe you just don't really have a script because you've never been here before.
Yeah, I think it would have been a spot where most coaches would have just deflected or said something about how we're committed to getting better each day. You're going to be proud of the product next Saturday. I think that this is live by the sword, die by the sword, because he loves those press moments. He really used to capture that on the sideline interviews and after big wins when Clemson storms the field. Like, that was his best recruiting tactic, was being in front of that camera, because he's got such a great personality that the recruits love and the alum love. So then now it backfires on him where, he's on that podium again. Now it's in a losing spot, a rough losing spot. It's almost like he couldn't turn off that character. I mean, I think keep it short and sweet at that point, but he really went on, and now those clips are all over the internet.
Oh, yeah, he sure loves to preach when he's winning. So sorry. He may not be my favorite.
We couldn't be more polar opposite, man. You could have your flesh. I am not going to be a cannibal. All right, Brett.
Talk to me about Missouri here, Brett, because listen, I don't know how I feel about South Carolina. Sellers bounced back, had a pretty nice game, although I thought he struggled late. Didn't think he gave South Carolina the best opportunities down the stretch, but it appears like Missouri might be pretty good. How much are you buying into the Tigers?
Yeah, I'm upgrading Missouri significantly here after 4 games. And you look back at the Kansas game, I know on paper it was only 42-31, but you look at yardage, they really dominated that game, plus 350 in a yardage margin. It's incredible. And then last week against South Carolina, you're right, Sellers, he missed a couple wide open guys there in the fourth quarter, maybe could have made it closer. But with Missouri, I love these running backs. Ahmad Hardy and his backup. They
Boy,
are
they
just
run
oh
hard.
my gosh, yeah, it's like pinballing down the field. They're bouncing off guys, and so that's impressive. That's going to hold up, I think, in SEC play and allow Bo Pribula, a first-time starter, to really continue to improve. So they got UMass coming up this week. That'll get them to 5-0. Then they got a bye week. Then they're hosting Alabama, and that's going to be one of the biggest games that Missouri's had in a long time in Columbia. So you're talking about a 5-0, and they should be ranked, top 15 area by then, come October 11th. That's a huge game, a huge spot for them. But they've recruited really well. They've done well with the transfer portal, really upgraded their profile than what we're used to with Missouri, say 5, 10, 20 years ago. So, yeah, they're just cashing in on all those dividends now.
So let me ask you something, and we get them on Friday, so I'm pretty pumped. It's what is it? The appointment. What did you call this weekend again?
Oh, cancel your plans. It's once a year it comes up. It's cancel your plans Saturday.
I got a sneaky one on the 26th. It's kind of tricky. I get it. It's brie cheese and a lot of high education folks, but are the Seminoles walking into a little bit of something in Charlottesville when Virginia hosts these guys?
Yeah, I got to say, this is not your usual UVA team, and they've been down the last, 5, 10 years, but what they did this offseason, they did keep their staff together. There was some hot seat talk, some coordinator hot seat talk, but they doubled down. They kept the whole staff. What they did is they rallied a lot of booster money, a lot of NIL money, put together a top 25 transfer class, and if you follow recruiting, that is shocking to hear from UVA football that they were able to do that, and it's paying off. You start a quarterback. They upgraded there, and now they're distributing the ball. I think Trell Harris, he had 3 receiving touchdowns in the first quarter alone last week, and they're rolling up yardage too. They broke a school record with 700 yards in their FCS game, put up 600 last week against Stanford. I know these are not Florida State tier, but in past years, these would have been close wins for UVA. So, yeah, it's going to be a tough test. My numbers have it within a score right now. I was shocked to see it. It's one of those where the formula shocks me on Monday morning, but I got Florida State by less than a score. It's going to be a tight one.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and take Florida State in the points. I'm fine there.
Of course you will.
I'm okay with the 6.5. That feels like a gift. So let's get to some of these clear your schedule Saturday games. One of them I'm fascinated by is we'll start here in the Big Ten, USC and Illinois. Illinois coming off of whatever the hell happened last week, and then USC kind of had a little bit of a game Michigan State opponent, but they were able to take care of business. Don't know what their defense looks like yet. How are you looking at USC Illinois?
Do you see what this
opened? What did it open at? I think it's around 7, right?
Yeah, I got it at 6.5 now.
I think it opened at 1.5.
Oh my gosh!
Oh wow!
I'm almost dead dog serious.
Wow.
So what I know one of our crafty listeners will check. I think it opened around 1.5 or 2. I'm not kidding you, Brett.
It opened at 1.5.
Yeah.
That's
yeah. There you go. You gotta be close on the trigger there to pull, get those good lines. But yeah, with USC, I like them big here. And if you read Pick Six Previews magazine this year, you're not surprised by this because I was really high on USC. I had them 15th in the country coming in. No one else had them ranked. No one else had them even contending. And then on the flip side with Illinois, that was really a consensus top 10 team coming in. I had them 35th. So these were 2 of the teams that I diverged from the consensus the most in different directions. And so far, I like where I'm at with both. So I think I'm going to go USC here, double-digit win. It is tough to travel these time zones. In fact, I'm putting a study together for Pick 6 Plus, looking at teams that have to travel from West Coast to the East or Central, and then vice versa going back. It heavily favors the home team in these situations. So maybe a little olive branch there for Illinois, but I like USC. A great offense again. Jaden Mayava, #1 quarterback rating stat so far. They're lighting it up. So I'll go USC here, double digits.
Again, another line that ballooned. And I don't know, man. Just color me. I always give the benefit of the doubt to Iowa and Iowa City. Some of our listeners are going to be like, of course, TB, you're an Iowa fan, even though there couldn't be anything further from the truth, Brett. I do respect Iowa City.
He just likes their colors.
And that program, it opened at 3. It currently sits at 7.5. Boy, Kinnick getting no respect.
Yeah, and you talk to former players that played within the Big Ten. They say that Iowa could be the hardest place to play. I know it's not 110,000 like you see at Penn State or Michigan or Ohio State, but per capita, per person, that might be the hardest in the league. So great home field advantage, Iowa. I think what people are seeing is just their different performances this weekend. And with Iowa, what I mean by that is the first 3 drives of the game against Rutgers, they allowed touchdowns. That never happens under Phil Parker, to let alone to let up 2 touchdowns to start the game, let alone 3. So maybe some defensive questions there at Iowa. And then you look at what Indiana just did. They just steamrolled Illinois on all 3 phases, block punts, just a perfect performance by Fernando Mendoza. 14 touchdowns, no picks this year. He's got the highest number there, passing the ball. So I think you just see the 2 performances, and you wonder how high can that line get. I think you're going to see it go higher. It's just hard to evaluate. How do you move a line around with that Indiana performance? So that's why you're seeing the number move a lot. But I like Indiana to go in there and get the win.
Okay, so here's one that I'm fascinated by. I imagine it's got to be probably the marquee matchup in that afternoon window, even unless you're a big Iowa fan like DB here, is that LSU Ole Miss game. I don't really know what to do with LSU because
I don't know what to do with Ole Miss. We going back to Chambliss?
Listen, Trinidad Chambliss is balling. Also, can I just sit? I'm just sorry. I'm going to preach here for a minute, Brent. I like get my dabble on. So
don't worry, Brent. It's been all morning.
I just appreciate that after all the talk about Arch Manning and DJ Lagway and Lenora Sellers and Austin Simmons, and pick a guy in the SEC that nationally people thought was going to be great. It's Trinidad Chambliss that has better numbers than all those fools, who is a D2 transfer from Ferris State.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. It's him. It's Gunnar Stockton. It's John Mateer. Some of these, Bo Prabiola, some of these guys that were maybe overlooked by the national crowd. Marcel Reed has really looked good at A&M in his second season. But yeah, you're right about it with Chambliss. And I was skeptical. Color me skeptical. You always hear that when a Division II guy takes over an SEC program. It's just so rare. But he has proven all doubters wrong, not just once, but he backed it up this week again. Another 400-yard game. They were doing alley-oops there on the sideline with the little basketball hoop that Lane Kiffin set up. That's how you know you have the game in hand if you're doing that kind of stuff. So, and that was a legit team. Tulane, that was people thought to be the non-AQ playoff pick. So for them to run it up on them was impressive. I actually have Ole Miss favored to win this game, albeit tight. And here's why. You look at LSU, a couple of these wins are now getting downgraded a bit. I think
so that's what I wanted to ask. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And you got to stay fluid with this. At the time, Clemson, we thought was a playoff favorite, maybe a national title favorite. They're now 1-3, and Syracuse beat them better, and Georgia Tech arguably beat them better than what LSU did to them. And then you look at the Florida win, which was ranked at the time, and USF beat them, and Miami smoked them. So you got to just maybe reassess LSU. I know that they had some quarterback health that might be fixed now. But in this case, I'm going to go Ole Miss at home with a point or two.
I think Nussmeier is a hard case study, and he flies under the radar in terms of the scrutiny that quarterbacks have gotten. Listen, Brett, you can laugh, but you can't have takes if you don't have a hot one. I got Ohio State on upset alert, and this may be I'm seeing what I want to see. They've got to go up to Washington. I don't know if they can get enough stops, but I think Washington offensively can do some things. It's just 8.5, but the crazy thing is it opened at 14. That seemed like way too many. 8.5 probably seems closer to right, but still, man, Washington is dangerous.
I would have loved that 14.5. I mean, even if you get into a late fourth quarter cover scenario, but no, I think Washington's legit. And this is a team nobody really has watched. You got to be really into it to watch this team. It's always late night and some off-channel games, but they have really impressed me. I've watched every one of them. Damon Williams, little guy at quarterback. He's kind of like a Kyler Murray type, the way he scrambles and can laser the ball anywhere on the field. Jonah Coleman, also a tough runner at running back. He's going to go for another 1,000 yards this year. Their receiver room looks solid this year, too. They look bigger in the trenches, too, in Jed Fish's second year. That was a weakness the first year. At least he said so, depth-wise, in spring ball last year. So they look improved. And, yeah, I mean, this is a team that, they haven't faced really a Power 4 test yet, so we don't know really what we have. But given what they've played so far, it looks really dynamic. They've scored touchdowns or field goals on the last 22 drives. I don't care who you're playing. That's a heck of a drive chart right there. You look at it, it's all green. So they could score some points and hit some explosives to keep this thing close.
Okay, so I'm a little fascinated by, and maybe it's just because of my love for the late Mike Leach. I'm a little fascinated by Mississippi State this year with Jeff Lebby. They're 4-0. That's a really hard team to gauge. We don't really know what Arizona State is, so I don't know what that win means. Their other 3 wins are kind of meh, to be kind. And then you got them going up against Tennessee, who is ranked, and I think it's hilarious because Joey Aguilar is out playing Nico. That's a whole other story. But they also don't really have a good win unless Syracuse all of a sudden is a good win now.
Well, you guys are poo-pooing on Syracuse. What if Fran's got those guys rolling?
Maybe he does. That would look like it was going to be a pretty bad team coming into the year.
Well, I mean, who doesn't battle with UConn?
Double OT, baby.
Hey, up downs.
They beat the toothpaste company pretty good. They beat Colgate by 40. But no, Syracuse really that was an impressive win, and you got to credit Fran Brown. But no, with Tennessee, this might sound crazy, but I learned more from them in the Georgia game. Even though they lost the game, it was really a coin flip to me. It went to overtime. They missed that chip shot field goal to win it. I was really impressed by Tennessee's offense. Coming in, I had so many questions with their offense. I mean, you had to. You had the whole Nico drama, but even before that, they lost 4 starters on the offensive line. They lost their all-SEC running back, Dylan Sampson. They lost all 3 receivers. So it was really just starting over on offense. But Chris Brazzell, really, to me, has stood out as one of the best in the country at receiver. So I'm going to trust Tennessee's offense here. Mississippi State, yeah, it's a great start so far, 4-0, and they got their signature win there against Arizona State. But somebody put out a stat. It was well-researched. It was the first 4-0 SEC team to be unranked in over 10 years. Really disrespect within that SEC context. I guess it's a different grading scale because there's a lot of 4-0 teams that go unranked, but looking at the SEC alone, it's rare. So they have a spot to prove it. I'm still going to go Tennessee here and probably to cover that too. I think Tennessee is the better roster.
Before I get to the 2 biggies at night in that 6:30 time slot, which is unfortunate for the viewing masses, I'm going to go just a half hour earlier, and I want to head to Ames, where Arizona travels to the Cyclones. And this just 5.5, it seems like a fair number. I kind of feel like Arizona's a little bit of an enigma. We've seen Iowa State a ton. They, for whatever the reason, decided to go to Arkansas State. Got away with one. It's fine. You got to win some of those. Is this the week that Ireland catches up with them, or do you still like the Clones?
Well, I'm a little skeptical now because you look back, similar to how we have to reevaluate some of LSU's wins and go through it. Let's look at that Kansas State win, who we thought was a ranked team, a top 15 game in Ireland. And now they're 1-3, and they should be 0-4. They barely survived North Dakota in their FCS game. So a little skeptical there. The Arkansas State game, they needed a great drive at the end of the second quarter, right before halftime, to get a score right before half to really pull away a little bit. So I'm skeptical, and they get it done. It's one of those programs where maybe on paper and within my game grader formula, I can't capture just how great of coaches they are and their special teams. It's kind of like an Iowa type where they outperform what I would expect, just given the coaching. A lot of respect for Haycock, the defensive coordinator, and Rocco Beck. We talked about him. It's almost Rocktober the way he survives in these fourth quarter games. So it'd be unwise to go against them. Arizona, I will say, is one of the highest upgrades I've done this year. I mean, they came in looking like a bottom of the barrel team in the Big 12, but they've really shined so far. They look much improved from last year, and Noah Fafita is solid at quarterback. So I think I'll go Iowa State here, but close.
I now see why Fafita didn't make the assumed jump and go to Washington with Williams there. That was, I know he had a year in between, but looks like they both made the right choice. Let Fafita do what he's doing and let D. Will do what he's doing. Let's go to boy, I can't believe these. It's a good thing for quad boxes and different viewing devices, but let's go to Penn State, where it's more than a key number, so that will be tantalizing with the hook. I actually think the line is right. Penn State hasn't looked great on offense, but that is a miserable place to play. It's a miserable place to get to, and you're literally going coast to coast. What say you?
Yeah, coast to coast. There's also the rest advantage. Penn State's coming off a bye, and Oregon had to go in their Civil War, a really tough game against Oregon State. I know they blew them out, but emotions run high for that one.
Yeah.
So you got that. My numbers have it around Penn State by 5. So I think the 3.5 is fair. It's always hard to evaluate a team that hasn't had a Power 4 test yet. Of course, they took care of business against their 3 teams, but you can't really learn much from it yet. Going off a lot of last year's performance, a lot of their stuff on paper coming into the year still. Oregon at least has played Oklahoma State, which I don't know, guys, is that even a Power 4 test? I don't know, but their margin of victory is impressive. I mean, 69-3 against the Pokes is solid. But anyway, this is a Big Ten title rematch. Penn State came in as my Big Ten favorite. I'm going to keep it there. I still like Drew Aller. I know his stats are a little below what we thought. He's 14th in the Big Ten in quarterback rating so far. I think that'll improve. The running backs are still really strong. Could be the best duo in the country. And looking at the whiteout spot for them, this is an annual game. They try and pick their biggest home game and line it up as the whiteout. It might be the hardest place to play in all of college football. It's right up there with an LSU night game. And they are 7-1 their last 8 whiteout games. And usually, like I said, it's a top opponent. A lot of those are ranked wins. One was over number 2, Ohio State. So it is a really tough spot to play. And you're right about that travel factor. We talked about that earlier in the show. I'm going to go Penn State here at home to get it done and win by that key number.
That's weird. I thought James Franklin couldn't win big games. So the last one we've got is Georgia, Alabama. Georgia, just a 2.5-point favorite at home. Alabama with an opportunity to show that either Florida State's actually just really good or that opening weekend game was a fluke. Georgia weirdly sort of flying under the radar almost as Georgia. How do you see this one?
Yeah, they really are. They were kind of the mysterious team of September. We saw them against Tennessee, and the offense came to life, but then you can always spin it that the defense gave up 41 points. So, so you got the nation's longest active win streak. Georgia has won 32 straight between the hedges. And they're getting into that discussion with Miami's long 58-game win streak back during their dynasty. So this will be a huge test. Obviously, you got two of the biggest brands in the country, the two biggest recruiting powers going at it. It's 1A versus 1B in recruiting. I've got it more like a toss-up. So if I'm going to get 3.5 with Alabama, I think there's value there. Just because, they're a little bit unknown as well, but so is Georgia. And what Alabama did to Wisconsin was impressive. What they did against UL Monroe, I know it's UL Monroe, but it was impressive too. The quarterback went 17 for 17. He looks much improved since the week 1. So I think that you're going to get a really focused Alabama team. I'm going to go Alabama here and trust Kalen DeBoer. It's a tough spot, like I said, on the road at Georgia, but I like their offense. I'm going to go Alabama.
Which line makes more sense to you, Brett? These are early games in the Big 12. Kansas laying the 5.5 to Cincinnati, or K-State laying the 6 to undefeated UCF?
Yeah, these might be 4 of the strangest teams in the conference to me right now. And, with Kansas, I don't know what to do with them. My power ratings can't really catch up in either directions to them. So I don't know. I mean, they're really, it's a solid coaching job by Lance Leipold. You got Jalen Daniels back again. He's getting it done, running it, passing it. I don't know what to make of it. So of all the games we talked about, I would try and avoid these Big 12 games in the middle. Kansas State also. I don't know how
that's a crazy line, isn't it? Like,
how much can we downgrade them? Yeah, I don't know how much can we downgrade them. I mean, they're 1-3, should be 0-4. UCF, they're a transitional team, but they did impress against UNC. It was 3 long sustaining drives that ate up a lot of clock. It was ball control, something we didn't see from Frost the first time at UCF. It was more of he called it the USF fast offense. Now it's kind of methodical, and they really dominated the time of possession last game. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I said, of all the games on the docket, I wouldn't even touch these. I'd just let them play out and enjoy it. So we'll go with that for now.
It's 11 a.m. We might still just be finishing our mimosas.
Yeah,
I know some people in that
long
game.
day.
Brett Ciancia from Pick 6 Previews. That's our guy every Tuesday talking about national college football. Great stuff as always, Brett. We'll talk to you next week.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. Enjoy this big Saturday.
Thanks, B. What do you think about Notre Dame and Arkansas?
I'm actually sort of fascinated by that one.
Me too. There's so many good games.
I know. For Nebraska to have a bye week, this is the perfect week for them to have a bye week. Because I was thinking about that.
So you watch television?
So yeah, so you don't have when there's a Nebraska game going on, you have to go catch up other stuff, right? Whether you're there or not, you have to it obviously devotes most of your attention. So to have this slate of games on a bye week is kind of perfect. I'm actually the bye weeks have to happen one way or another. Might as well have a great slate of college football outside.
Are you surprised about K-State being such a big fave?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why they're still getting as much love as they are.
How bad are you cheering for Cincinnati?
Always, every week.
Is Daniels? You have Daniels though, don't you?
Jalen, yeah.
Yeah.
I need him to ball out, but he can lose. Even though I get 2 points for wins, If he gets me, a couple hundred yards passing, a little rushing, some touchdowns, I'm cool.
Yeah, who's not getting me 2 points in?
Who?
South Carolina.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Let's
There's some tricky Big 12 games.
Oh, there we go. We got the numbers up here. Your boy's still in the lead, no big deal. KB, he's closing on me a little bit at 98. TK is in third with 94.
Guess who's in last?
Dude, Team Roston is climbing up the ladder though.
Yeah.
They were struggling at first. Arch Manning beating up on a Division II opponent really helped him out.
It's nice that Pavia gets him a deuce every week.
Yeah.
I told you
it helps.
Vandy's going to ruin a couple of team seasons.
I hope so. As long as it's the right teams, I'm happy for it. I'll be.
Isn't it still relatively close though?
I mean, it's fine, but I'm never going to get anything from Nico, so I'm constantly going to be. I mean, my two worst players are Sellers and Imaliava, so.
Yeah, Nico's gonna flush you the whole season. Like that's a tough one.
I'm just laying a goose egg, and nobody else really has a guy like that.
No, Tim does. He's got DJ Lagway.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, Tim's got DJ Lagway, who has the exact same amount of points as Nico.
Do you guys have anything to make up for bye weeks?
No, it evens out in the end.
Yeah,
okay,
we'll just chill.
Chilling. But Team Roston, Arch Manning flexing on a Sam Houston State guy really helped him out this week.
I just need Sellers to get his bunda in gear.
He played his
just
numbers
don't
were
get
better.
me single digits every week.
His numbers were better. Dampier killed me this week. Dampier was negative this week.
Yeah, they got bullied.
They did. I was surprised by that.
How about Mendoza going for 27 points though?
Yeah,
I think that's a season high.
I don't love that.
Although Dylan got Kyle 22.
I know. I do love that, even though he's the guy directly behind me.
I don't care. I'm cheering my brains out for Kyle.
That's rude. Why would you do that?
Do you listen to you? You're crazy.
Well, you think that's going to stop if I lose?
No.
It's certainly not going to.
You are nuts. How am I getting beat by Team Roston?
Yeah, it's tough. That's a tough look.
Team Suave Action.
They got Miller Moss. Miller Moss is pretty bad. I think he's the third.
He's another single-digit king. That's all I know.
Single digits. Drake Lindsay, single digits. Cade Klubnik is single digits. That's a tough one for TK. Cade Klubnik being bad?
Klubnik?
Yeah, because that's one I would have thought would have been good.
Yeah, but he gets good points every week from Mendoza and Haynes King.
He does. Although Haynes King's a little banged up.
I know.
He gets good points from Baron Morton too, or Baron Morton.
Yeah, that's
a good pickup.
I was jealous my jealous pick.
Yeah,
because I had to take your boy Nico Trash.
My guy.
La.
You're the one that defended him all summer, and I was like, hey, he might suck. You're the one that's like, I don't think it's his fault. I want him to succeed.
Is that how I said it?
A little bit, yeah. Let's take a quick break here.
That's totally fine.
If you're out on the roads this morning, make sure you've got that seatbelt fastened. It prevents injuries and saves lives, but only if worn properly. Make it click. This message from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. We'll be back. More Hurrdat Sports Live coming up next.
We're in the neighborhood, just down the street. With a wide variety of home equity products to help you create a relaxing oasis. So you can kick back and relax in comfort. Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
So it's a really good question, and I'm going to be. You have to be careful what you say as a head coach. I'm going to be very direct. I don't know exactly what, because if you take out 4 runs, now you can't take out 4 runs. Okay, so this is not me, but you take out the 3 long runs in this game, and again, that's why I went through what each one was, because it's not like Sam Ledger is going like 6 yards, 6 yards, 6 yards, because that then starts to scare you and turn the other way. Like, hey, we can't stop anybody. Like, you look at these seasons. If you take out the reverse against the twos against Michigan State, like when the kid got tackled in reverse field, and then those 3 runs, they're averaging 3.7 yards per carry. So you're sitting in the game and you're sitting there, you're stopping the run. You're like, I feel good about this, and then bang, explosive play. Now, so each one's just a little bit different, right? So, I think we're very much looking at like, hey, because we didn't play a lot of 3-3 in the game. We put big people on the field. We put our big people on the field. We said, hey, we dare you to throw it, and they still found a way to run a couple runs that hurt us. And so, I think that's really what we have to do this week is just look at like who's on the field, how we're playing. But I don't think it's like a hey, we don't have good enough players. Now,
Nebraska volleyball's biggest rival?
Penn State.
Penn State? Why Penn State?
Oh, just because we don't like them.
I would have to say Nebraska's biggest rival is Penn State, because back in the day when they had the great players and Coach Russ Rose and Penn State has always been Nebraska's Achilles heel, and as far as like opponents.
Probably Penn State or Wisconsin.
Yeah. Why do you think Penn State?
Because they beat us last year in the Final Four.
Yeah, you got to get them back this year.
Yep.
Why?
Right now,
Wisconsin, Penn State.
I'd say Penn State. Yeah.
Penn State or Wisconsin.
In the past few years, I would have said Wisconsin, but after last season, I think we kind of own Wisconsin now. So now I would say Penn State, and we fell short against them last year, and that game coming up at home later this year, that is going to be absolutely electric, and I really hope that they can get the blackout to work.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centrist Federal Credit Union. That's DBM Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill, reminding you, make sure you go see our friends over at Next Gen Male Medical Clinic. Regardless of what you're going through, if you're not feeling your best, make sure you give them a call, because they've got tons of different options. It's not just testosterone, it's weight loss, it's peptides, it's vitamins, all sorts of things to get you feeling your best. Give them a call, 402-614-9700. I just started on my stuff last week, and I'm feeling good. I know DB's starting soon as well. So make sure you give them a call, just like we did, 402-614-9700. Cool staff in there.
Is now time to talk about Sir Moylan? Sir Moylan? Sir
Moreland.
That too.
Almost nailed it.
Hey, let's talk about peptides.
Listen, I'm a big peptides guy.
No, listen, for recovery?
Yeah, peptides.
I'm all in.
Peptides are great, man.
Last couple handful of weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, some of it's because Coach Lamanji just has no chill, but like long days like walking and turf and being. I wore the bad shoes 2
It
days
gets
in a
to
row.
you. Yeah.
Your boy is like, I feel like marshmallowy soft.
Yeah, you need some Sir Moylan.
It's Sir Moylan.
It's not any of those
Hey,
things.
so the funniest thing, and
Not
I
any
just
of those
I
things.
just talked to Nick Friday out there, and I let you like you talked me into submission because I practiced the I'm like I know what to say. I know it's actually Sir Moylan, not so after I joke practice what the names weren't, and you go, listen, just say, what do you have for peptides?
Yeah.
So what did I say?
You have any Sir Moylan?
Nope. I want to talk peptides. I didn't have the stones.
Dude, he's cool though, isn't he?
Yeah, I like him. I think
like
I'm
him
going
a
to
lot.
really like him.
I like him a lot.
I do.
No, that's Amazing Daniel. That's Bronto, not Sir Moylan. It's different. That's what plants crave.
Oh, he's been on one this morning.
He has.
He was mad at you for getting worked up.
Listen, he's always mad at me.
No, the chat was awful surly. We had the fake Kamala Harris guy.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Oh, don't read. Kamala, or you just move on.
I can't read.
I can't read. No, pretty snarky in the stream this morning.
No, I saw that. I saw a little bit. People getting a little.
I hope Tom didn't have to go to work. I didn't want to shame him, but it was just. Sometimes you just got to call a spade a spade.
It wasn't great. I didn't think it was great.
Tom's take?
Didn't think it was a very good take.
It's kind of a reach, but anyway,
Is reaching out there.
Sometimes it's like that.
We were talking with Brett just a minute ago, and I like it.
I love Justin.
What do you do?
Look what he's. We're not. You don't have to read it out loud.
Okay. Let me just.
That's on. Funny he should ask.
Yeah, it says.
Knock it off.
Funny.
We're not
It's a good comment. It's
Hey, that's a secret.
He says as he puts it on the screen. It's a secret.
I wanted you to.
No, I can read.
To be fair, in his defense,
whose Shane's or Justin's?
Shane's.
Okay.
Sometimes you're like, Shane, can you put it up on screen? So
But I
read it.
didn't say that.
Well, maybe you just assumed. You know what that happens.
That's what I always do, and they never catch me. Ain't nobody gonna catch me.
I think.
How rich is she? Is she still rich?
I have no idea. If I had to guess,
I'm gonna say yes.
And all these hoes laughing like so funny.
she may not have been super smart with her money.
I know you hate when people that look like that talk like that.
I hate when anybody talks like that. She hasn't said a real word yet.
She's got to be like, what, 15, 16 by now? I mean, how smart can
No,
you be?
no,
with
she's
your
got
money?
like a
30.
5-year-old.
She's got to be like 30. That doesn't. Never mind.
Wow.
She's got to be like 30. That was like 15 years ago that thing happened.
Judgy McJudge?
No judgment. On
Google how old. What is it? Bad Habibi?
I have no idea what
I think
her name
bad.
is. She's the.
It has a. Is it just baby and she was creative with the spelling?
Creative. That's a good way to say she doesn't know how to spell.
Maybe.
Is it?
You're terrible.
Is that the catch you outside lady?
Yes.
Okay.
What's wrong with you?
Catch me outside. It's. I think it's literally.
What I just said.
Dear God. I think it's supposed to be bad baby, and she doesn't know how to spell.
Knock it off, Judgy. How old is she?
She's only 22. I thought she was older.
Oh
than
my
that.
goodness! I think her little. You're right, because her little girls like they're. Stop! Would you stop?
I didn't say anything. You'll be.
Wow. That's it.
You'll be surprised to know that Bahad Bahabi is not her government name.
It's Danielle Bergolis or something like that.
You're very close. Danielle Peskowitz Brigoli.
Yeah,
Give my life away.
so your boy.
Apparently she's a rapper.
Your boy used to be in my library.
Bahad Bahabi?
I said your boy.
Oh, okay. My Bahoy?
Dr. Phil. But I don't rock with him anymore. I cut him off like 2 years ago.
Nah.
Haas said, Ravi, hand DB readers. Do I have a couple pair? Dang, Haas, you usually are my little, part of my support group.
Rico, how do you know that?
What'd Rico say? What did Rico say? Rico's crazy. Where's Suave been anyway? He's been kind of quiet.
She said she started an OF the day she turned 18 and made millions. People really like her.
Yeah, I'm telling Google her net worth.
Okay.
I'm serious.
All right.
It's in the millions.
I'm not denying that she has made millions. I'm questioning whether she still has it. That's different.
Well, how much can you spend on a 2-year-old?
I think she had like a motorized pink Lamborghini.
Well, okay.
I'm just saying, Rico, you seemed real quick on the OF information. That's all I'm saying.
Hey,
you were quick on the trigger there, my guy.
But knowing good and well, I know what it is. Had to like say it to myself slow. I was like, oh wow, like outfield. Like, who walked her off? Outfield.
Apparently, a lot of people.
Why did he just? He may have been her first. You don't know.
The content keeps being produced.
You don't have to be with anyone. Wow.
I don't know what kind of content she produces. Rico, what kind of content does she produce?
Why you trying to get Suave in trouble?
I'm not.
I keep trying to tell you.
He seems like the expert on what's happening here.
Judgment and joy can't coexist.
Again, I disagree. I'm having a hell of a time. Every weekend when I watch DJ Lagway, I'm having the time of my life.
Unbelievable.
We don't believe in judgment-free zones here.
Wow.
Stank says Rico is always a fan.
Stank is funny.
Yeah, that's where you generally find those things, Rico, the internet. I do believe that's where.
Where's Action Jackson?
I don't know. He's out here. He's out here, right?
Yeah.
That's where the magic happened.
Hey,
I was going to ask more college football questions.
I have one thing I want to play for you. Shane, I don't even know where my phone is. Shane, the clip where Coach Rhule, he said, that's a good question. And he went into whether tactical versus technical.
That was the D-line question, right? About how much they want to stunt moving forward.
Was it on the heels of the long runs or searching for balance? Shane, let's start with clip 3, if you will.
So it's a really good question, and I'm going to be – you have to be careful what you say as a head coach. I'm going to be very direct with you. I don't know exactly what – because if you take out 4 runs – now, you can't take out 4 runs, okay? So this is not me – but you take out the 3 long runs in this game. And again, that's why I went through what each one was, because it's not like Sam they're just going like 6 yards, 6 yards, 6 yards, because that then starts to scare you and turn the other way. Like, hey, we can't stop anybody. Like, you look at these seasons. If you take out the reverse against the 2s against Michigan State, like when the kid got tackled reverse field, and then those 3 runs, they're averaging 3.7 yards per carry. So you're sitting in the game and you're sitting there and you're stopping the run. You're like, I feel good about this. And then bang, explosive play. Now, so each one's just a little bit different, right? So, I think we're very much looking at like, hey, because we didn't play a lot of 3-3 in the game. We put big people on the field. We put our big people on the field. We said, hey, we dare you to throw it, and they still found a way to run a couple runs that hurt us. And so, I think that's really what we have to do this week is just look at like who's on the field, how we're playing. But I don't think it's like a hey, we don't have good enough players now. The part of that, what the players have to hear is we're just also not overwhelming people with like, what I'm saying? So it's not like, we're not gap and a half thing and we're locked out in the B gap and the ball goes inside and we're throwing the guy down to make a tackle. That's not happening at a high enough level. So we're going to have to play better. We're going to have to coach better. And I don't want to minimize how good their backs are. I thought going into the game that 22, I think I said it last week, was an elite level player, and he was an elite level player. I mean, I hope if anything, we're trying to be honest. I sat here last week. I said, guys, inside the 10 offense, our kickoff game, and 10-yard rushes were the things that concern me. Well, explosive runs. We had the ball inside the 10, inside the 5. So at least we're being honest about the things that we know we have to fix. But I don't know that it's like a major overhaul, because I think we're doing sound things. We're in Bear. We're in all those different things. I just think it's making sure that the right guys are doing the right things and kind of settling into who we are moving forward.
I thought that was fantastic.
I agree.
So let me tell you something, and I don't want to mischaracterize. Did you get the sense real time, whether you were on social media or you were getting recaps of the presser, did you feel like he was overly putting it on the players?
Oh, no.
Okay. Because I saw that a little bit, and I was like,
I
well, let me
didn't.
go back and listen.
I didn't get that sense.
And he said,
on
listen,
social
you have to be
media.
careful.
Yeah.
We have to play better. We have to coach better. But the interesting thing is you have to be really, really intentional about what it is that you want to find the answer to. Right? I think does he want to find out if the scheme is good or why they give up explosives? Are they mutually exclusive?
Yes. Yes, I think that's what he wants to find out. I don't know if they're
Both?
mutually exclusive. I think he wants to find out because I think you have to start with the scheme you're running because your players can only change so much. And I get that there's limits to how much you can change a scheme in season as well. But I would want to start with the scheme to say, hey, is what we're doing sound or do we need to try something else? That's where I would start because I assume they like their players to a certain degree. Now would they change? Hey, maybe we play, as Gabe Moore gets a little bit more healthy. Maybe we play him a little bit more. Or, hey, Elijah Judy had his best game of the season. Maybe we need to focus, maybe he gets more rep. You know what I mean? So, there's some things that there's variables in there. But within about a probably 20-guy sample size, I feel like they know who they're going to play on defense.
Yeah.
So, if that's the truth, then I have to start with scheme to say, okay, is this scheme able to be executed by some combination of the 20 guys that I'm going to end up playing on defense? And if the answer to that is no, then you have to do an overhaul like he's talking about.
Shane, keep that comment up. I'm sorry, keep going.
I think, and I'm glad that he brought this up because we actually saw it last night in Detroit versus Baltimore, where Baltimore was giving up 6 yards, 8 yards, 10 yards, 12 yards, 6 yards again, over and over and over again. That was a defense that was, listen, it's the NFL. I don't think there's that big of a talent gap between anybody, right? I get there is some.
You thought, so you're saying there was something schematically
to me
that
is
Detroit.
A schematic issue that Detroit had against Baltimore, that their scheme on defense was not working against what Detroit was trying to do. That's not what we saw against Michigan. So that's why I make the distinction. I get that the long runs still count. I'm not taking that away. But the only time Michigan sustained a drive at all was once. It was at the end of the game. It felt like a backbreaker because of how it happened. But they sustained one drive the entire day. To me, that means the scheme's working. You need to work on executing it a little better.
Okay, so Landon's this is, and I'm forgive me because I'm multitasking, and I don't think Josh is being or JK. I don't think Josh K is being snarky. He typically asks good questions. I want to get to him too because
he's asked us a couple of good ones in here. I think.
I don't mean, I like Josh, so he gets
no.
the
I think
benefit
he's.
of the doubt.
I
do think he generally
I think he's trying
is a solution guy. So Landon says if we tackle well, that game ends differently. I always want to say that, right? I'm like, because you
said it before the game.
No, I know.
To be fair, I hate giving you credit, but you said it before the game. I think it's just going to come down to tackling.
Yeah.
And guess what? On the one drive that Michigan sustained over the course of the day, how many times was that drive extended by a missed tackle?
Yeah.
At least 4.
Yeah.
Right? So to your point, I agree with Landon. If Nebraska tackles well, now I'm going to add in fits well so they can tackle because I think those are two in the same thing.
Which is about trust, but yeah, keep going.
If that happens, if they fit and tackle a little bit better, that's not a scheme issue. That's an execution issue, and they absolutely win that game.
Okay, so it's a scheme.
It's an execution issue, not a scheme issue.
So
I think
I want to tell you why sometimes when people are in the stream, they don't, and I talk about something from a different vantage point. They don't get what I get. Okay, it's just different platform. I think I'm probably more accessible. So sometimes I'll speak generally, and it may not pertain to them. That was Tom's big problem from this morning, right? So Lauren Michelson tweets out the clip of the breakdown. And I said tactical versus technical. I get how most people will only pay attention to the outcome. The bigger question is, how did we get here? That's the biggest difference between coaching and fandom. Somebody else, so the first response to that was, tactical versus technical. The reasons behind are both sides of the line. They just don't have the size. My response was, unfortunately, the coaches don't have the luxury of just, wanting to be right. They have to actually do their job
to try and find answers
to see what it is.
Yeah.
He says, the very next response, thank you for sharing. It seems like our guys are always left on an island. Does it always have to be so hard for one guy to make a play? It seems like pressure.
I mean, that's an interesting thought.
It is, but to Landon's point and to Coach Rhule's answer,
sometimes guys have to make a play.
Sometimes you just got to make a play.
And
like I'm serious.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Yeah.
That's why I was so taken aback by the 40 solo tackles from Michigan.
Because they made plays.
But I don't listen to people that say it's just about physicality, because that's not what that was. Now,
because if it was, we would have seen 6 yards, 8 yards, 6 yards, 8 yards.
Okay, that's it.
That's when I went back and watched.
That
like that was the biggest thing that stuck out to me when I went back and watched was the lines actually. And listen, I get the tackles on offense were getting beat a lot.
With speed.
They were, yes, with speed, and they were getting beat in a way that did leave Dylan options. If you're in a pro system, and if you're in the pros, we see this in the NFL all the time.
Yeah.
This is why climbing the pocket's important. You can't get beat inside.
Just be careful about listening to people that think that game boiled down to physicality, because a couple of things can be, and I want to be clear here.
I think it happened twice where the tackles just got run into Dylan.
I do think Michigan's secondary was more physical.
Agreed.
Than Nebraska's wide
but that's
receiving
not
core.
Generally what people are talking about.
But I don't think that's what people are talking about.
They're talking about the lines.
I think they're talking about getting pushed around. I don't think that's what happened.
No, go back. Go back and watch.
So you have to be careful about that narrative.
Now, if you want to make the case to me that the defensive line played it neutral and didn't make plays enough, I can hear that.
Yeah. So do you know what
that's
he says,
different.
like half splitting in B gap and locking a guy out and making the play? Okay, so he's basically saying when you're
shed the blocker.
when you're occupied and blocked and a guy is on you, don't be sticky. You get rid of him and you make the play anyway. We're not doing that enough. So he's acknowledging
that guys need to make plays.
He's acknowledging that, hey, that's not showing up enough either where, we do something out of the ordinary because we have really good players, but I'm not also sure enough to say, well, because we're not doing anything out of the ordinary, we need to revamp what we're doing.
Now, there is a point. If you consistently aren't showing that you can do that, then you do have to revamp what you're doing.
And he's right. And he's saying that's what they're looking at. He said we're going to spend a fair amount of time
trying to figure that out
during the
which is why my argument on yesterday was, hey, I didn't think, at least in that game, that the defensive linemen were going to do that. I thought they held their ground well. I didn't think they were going to make plays where I was like, hey, let's just run blitz this thing, get into the fits quickly, and make him beat us with his arm.
Yeah.
That's what I personally would have done. But if you're like, hey, we like these guys, we see them make plays in practice, we think we can do this, I understand.
But I think when they cover up both guards and they kind of get in that bare front, I think they are daring you to.
Yeah, and we saw that in the last drive, they didn't bust any runs. It was just broken tackles on the perimeter.
Well, I get into so some people can do this and some people can't. I don't know if it's the Twitter following or social media presence. Like the 54-yard run to Marshall, like I showed you exactly what happened, right? The whole box versus spill. I drew it out with the arrows. Can I repurpose that and not get in trouble?
I believe so, since it's not on a broadcast, and it's as long as you don't have it sponsored. I think you're okay on that if you want to do that.
Yeah, because I'll show you why that run happened, and it's the exact same thing that happened on Haynes' long run.
Or we could, maybe somebody at Nebraska likes us, wants to give us some all 22. That would help out, guys. Just help brother out. HBO.
Sasha asked me about that yesterday, and I forgot to even send the text.
HBO Max, guys. Help brother out.
My
Let's get
bad.
some all 22.
That's a good call. Both Josh and
No, good questions.
Those
are good questions.
Those are just good questions.
I appreciate that.
It lends itself to a better show.
Hopefully, we're going to have some good questions with our guy Mike Schaefer, although that's on us, so I can't guarantee it. We'll see what we can do coming up next year on Hurrdat Sports Live.
We asked fans to say something nice about each other. Let's see what everybody has to say.
I would say the one thing I like about Michigan is Taylor Lewan.
This place has been great. Everybody's really nice to us.
Nebraska has the nicest people. Go Big Red.
Well, I'm glad they beat Alabama a couple of years ago.
Just a volleyball school, and that's all there is to it.
Say something nice about Michigan? No, there's nothing really nice about Michigan.
Not even the lakes?
Never been there, so never plan on going, never will. If I had to say it, though, I would say Michigan. What is good about Michigan?
The reason that we came is because all of the Michigan fans who have ever been to Lincoln say this is the best place for away fans, and that's actually why we came. Everybody's really nice. They say, have a good game even though we're the opponent. So the Huskers have a great reputation in Ann Arbor, which is where we're from.
Today's Fan on the Street was brought to you by Warhorse Sportsbook and Casino.
Imagine your first dream home and the feeling of walking inside for the first time. With Centrist Federal Credit Union's First Time Home Buyers program, you are at the doorstep of bringing your vision to life. Welcome home. From your neighborhood mortgage experts, Centrist Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
I think we have a lot to improve on. I thought our defense tonight was pretty lackluster, so that's going to be a big focus of this week. Is we got to be better defensively, and I think our serving can also improve, which that really goes hand in hand with defense. When you're serving tough, your defense is much crisper. So those will be two of the biggest focuses. All of defense, blocking, digging. So it's just that's by far I think. They hit 250. The next highest was 173. That's hit on us all year. And I don't want to take away, Jordan Wilson she's one of the best outsides we'll play all year. So that was a challenge. Just we didn't make great adjustments like we have this year when a team's gotten hot against us. I feel like we've been able to make adjustments and shut players down or at least affect them. And we just didn't do that tonight.
Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Live.
They edged us early, and so then we started trying to absorb contact instead of taking the fight to them. Thought we were they do bring a lot of pressures and blitz. I mean, there's a couple that we turn sometimes we turned a guy loose that didn't need to be turned loose because we're overthinking it. Again, they present a lot of challenges. Credit to them, but it's also a bunch of other things too. Sometimes you have a chip and the back doesn't chip properly, right? Like he just tries, but it's not a great chip. One sack, we're supposed to have a comeback and the guy runs the wrong route. So. It's all 11 guys, but I think versus that rush, they were lining up wide and going speed. It's everything we knew they would do, right? Going speed to power and trying to collapse the pocket and make Dylan uncomfortable. And we didn't widen the pocket enough. And so from a football perspective, you want to have the width and depth of the pocket. The tackle set the width. Your inside guy set the depth. For the most part, the depth was okay, but the width, the edge guys one versus our tackles too much. And, that it takes all 11 guys. Guys got to get open fast. Quarterbacks got to get the ball out. You chip, rib, whatever you need to do. We didn't get that done well enough.
Welcome back. Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centrist Federal Credit Union. That's DBM Ravi, Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. We are joined now by Mike Schaefer of Husker 24/7. Schaefer, what's going on, buddy?
Not a ton. Just some big storms. Some big storms in Omaha last night.
Yeah.
Big light show. We have these windows that look out over kind of a cornfield back here behind us, and it was, I gotta say, it was pretty cool. Probably
You're northwest, right?
Oh yeah.
So I'm just telling you, if I generally think you know where you are, I was off of, and you don't have to say where you're at. I was off of 147th and State. So
you get it worse up
there.
there.
We're further west than that.
Okay. You're along that corridor.
You get it worse.
So you have to be very careful. People joke about the Oma Dome. You're not part of that.
I'm aware.
You're going to get what the bad weather brings. Like there's this weird stretch that goes from like 180th all the way down to like 110th from Fort
like Bennington.
To like Bennington,
Bennington,
you know, in Bennington's where it's like whatever the weather brings, it happens like right there. It will be an adventure for you.
Yeah, what was it 2 years ago? In the spring, the big tornadoes hit like over in this area of Bennington, and then 2 years later, the Schaefer's like, you know where we want to live? It can't happen twice, right?
That's where everybody goes, though. My nephew lives out there, and he just
where the houses are.
He had a birthday party for his daughter, and I was out there Sunday. There's so many things out there now. I'm like, oh, when they get that, or when they get that, and they're putting up a McDonald's. Like, it's happening fast, which is why another school is going up over there. You're a mover and a shaker, Mike J.
I was trying to think, like, so I've been in Omaha since August 14th. And I was trying to think how often I've been anywhere near the downtown area. And I think it's maybe one time in this first month so far.
That's it. It is a jaunt for you, though, and there's no fast way to get there.
Well, and there's also no reason for me to be over there for anything at this point in time.
Unless you want good food.
Oh, there's good food everywhere.
Well,
that's the nice part about Omaha.
Slim pickings out where Schaefer is.
I don't spend a lot of time.
I'm still fat and happy up here, so
hey, go hit
there's still the Blackstone, so I'm okay. Like I'm not.
Go hit the warehouse, man. They're legit.
I've heard about the warehouse. I've heard that.
I used to go to the warehouse so often, Mike. I would, on a humbug, if it wasn't very busy, I would just kind of loiter. I would go fold my arms and kind of stand by the open kitchen. And I would no, I'm dead. You're laughing. This is totally something I did. So over time, I would just compliment the meals. I was like, oh, man, I like the way you guys did that. Or, oh, who did this? Like, I appreciate the little twist you asked me. So after about the 55th or 56th time I had been in there, I just started talking to the chefs directly. So the last handful of times I was in there, I knew what was on the menu. So I would say, hey, can you take a little from this, a little from that, a little from this, a little from that? And they would make these meals, and it was incredible. Mike,
do they have a table for you in the back so you didn't have to sit with the general public too?
No.
You can't order out the general public.
It's
menu,
pretty well spread out. There was a pet store I used to like in that same general vicinity. So I would just loiter. I mean, I am, as you know, I am a creature of habit, and I stay in my comfort.
You're a creature. There's no question.
It kind of hurts my feelings. It so hurts my feelings. All right, I want to start. Let's go super hard hitting.
All right, I'm ready.
Did Mike J. Schaefer separate levels of physicality, the narrative of getting pushed around? You listen to the presser. Is it different from DBs to wide receiver? Like, when you look at how that game broke out from a physicality standpoint, did you make it more about talent or strength, or what? Like, where'd you land the plane on the physicality meter?
I don't know that I landed the plane anywhere on the physicality standpoint, unless, for me, a lot of, and I think there are two different conversations. And so let's start with Nebraska defensively, because that's a different conversation for me than Nebraska offensively. I don't know that I looked at Saturday in the moment and thought, oh, wow, Nebraska's just getting thrown around out there like rag dolls defensively. I looked at it more, hey, a number of guys had opportunities to make plays and didn't do it. And I felt Saturday had more to do, and this is that word that everybody hated for like a 5-year stretch under Bo Pelini. So I apologize if it's going to be triggering to a level here, but it was about execution, and Nebraska didn't execute what they were supposed to do on the field in a lot of ways. Or when they were in position and they had absolutely done everything correct, they didn't finish the play. I mean, that was that whole 9-minute drive in the fourth quarter, right? Like that was having the opportunity for Sierra Wright to get the guy out of bounds on 3rd and 5, the opportunity for Desan McCullough to at least slow down. I think it was Justice Haynes to slow him down on that screen pass to allow for other defenders to help clean up the play to get you off the field, to force the punt. It just early in the game, Andrew Marshall on a 3rd down, they could have gotten a stop before Michigan even gets to the point where they have their trick play that doesn't work, or the touchdown that isn't caught, or then ultimately the field goal. So Saturday to me, it wasn't so much, hey, these guys up front are just getting manhandled and they're going to run all over Nebraska. It was, these guys aren't making tackles. They're not making plays. And the flip side of that, Michigan, which the way that they have been talked about by some is you would think that Nebraska was on the receiving end of how Indiana beat Illinois, and that's not the case. But the difference was Michigan made tackles in space. Michigan made plays to get off the field. Michigan did things defensively to help themselves win, and they still only won a 1-score football game, in a game in which it felt like they dominated, and yet it also felt like Nebraska let multiple opportunities get away. So defensively, it was about execution. If there was an area where I felt like Nebraska got physically handled, I don't think it's a great sign that when the game starts, your tackles are 3 yards back on every play, and then by the fourth quarter, they're 7 yards back on every pass play. And they are 60 to 70 pounds heavier in some cases than some of the defenders that were just shoving them straight back. So that would be the area where I would be a little bit more, man, I don't know. I came out of this game, and I know I'm jumping around here, and I apologize. I came out of this game thinking Nebraska's offense has more to go for where I want them to be, for Nebraska to be the best version of what they have here, than where Nebraska's defense is ultimately needs to go to get to where they can just play complementary football. Like I felt the offense needed to do more, even in a game where they put up 27 points and threw for 308 yards. They needed to finish drives with either touchdowns or points. They needed to do more to help out their team. And so I actually left Saturday and still think this now multiple days later. I think Nebraska's offense needs to have the better bye week. I really do.
Oh, that's interesting.
No,
I
listen.
Go ahead. Handshake meme?
Yeah,
What's
Spider-Man, the whole like lockstep. Everything from and I said this, Schaefer, and listen, I know there's a lot of shoulders I could cry on, and yours isn't one of them, right? Tough love guy, don't be a baby, grow up DB, but I lose my mind when I hear people say, oh, Michigan gave them a gift and they dropped this and they dropped that. I'm like, if Marshall makes that tackle, you're not afforded the luxury of trying to belittle Nebraska by saying Michigan it happens all the time during the game. And you know what players don't do, or coaches? They don't separate the brain fart of dropping a pass versus missing a tackle or a taunting penalty. Like, the controllables are the controllables, and they happen throughout the course of a game. And it is such a hot button topic for me because it's just, and I hate to say what Coach Rhule said, but it's just too low hanging in a fruit, man. Like, if you want to talk about gift giving and brain farts, like, start with Nebraska first, not Michigan.
Well, I think sometimes people see the game they want to see because they felt like Michigan was going to be the more physical, dominant team, and they ran for 286 yards.
Maybe that's it.
They had 7 sacks, and so those are the things that are going to stand out, and so your brain's going to go there. But this is a wild game because on some levels it felt like Nebraska could have lost by multiple scores. On other levels, it felt like Nebraska could have won by multiple scores. And ultimately, it was a coin flip game, and it was a coin flip game coming in, and it finished to be a coin flip game. And I don't think we have to have an existential crisis about, oh no, is this team as good as we thought they were? Oh, do they have an identity? Oh, can they go do this? They need to just play football, like make tackles, make plays when you have the opportunity and get off the field. Yep. Make plays when you're on offense and you have the opportunity to beat a guy, like break a tackle. Sometimes we simplify it too much. Sometimes we make too much of every situation. This is a problem when all you're trying to do is talk about a team for 24 hours every day before they go play their next game. But a lot of Saturday was, hey, just go make a play. And, I don't think we're ever going to see Nebraska play a perfect football game. And so we need to stop pretending like everything's going to be perfect, nor is every team that they're ever going to play perfect too. Michigan didn't play perfect. Nebraska had an opportunity to win that game. They didn't do it. They didn't make enough plays. That was the summation of the game for me. They didn't make enough plays. And I hope that the offense comes out and plays a little bit better going forward, because they need them to not just be the better side of the ball. They need them to be good, because I think their path is to outscoring teams largely as they go forward.
You don't strike me as a big Rihanna fan, and I was until she ruined Matt Kemp's career. But she has a song called Take a Bow, and the lyrics are, how about a round of applause, a standing ovation? Like, if I could stand and like clap
Thank
it
you.
up.
I've gotten a lot of comparisons to Rihanna because we're both just unbelievably attractive individuals in the prime of our careers.
It's the beard, man. I'm telling you, you got kindred spirits. It's the beard.
Similar build.
Yeah, very similar build too.
Yeah, well,
I'm just.
You guys have never seen me really dance, so you would know. But
the narrative. Well, I was at your wedding.
Oh no, you would know.
I was at Happer's wedding. Does that count?
I don't think I was dancing. I think we were standing next to the bar the entire time you and I were at Happer's wedding.
All right, so Schaefer, you said it better than I ever. You said exactly what I was thinking with, and I just told myself I'm just not gonna try to say much because I don't want to get too worked up, and it's the bye week, but I just felt like, well, now Nebraska's not this, and they can't get to this, and we're just predestined to do this. And I told Ravi, I felt like it's kind of that toxic relationship with the media and the fan base and the players and the coaches, where it's like, well, I want to be heard, and this is my point, and then it's, well, this is what we're trying to do, and it's like, yeah, well, where's the disconnect? And so you just fall back on whatever your preconceived thoughts were. Like, you don't stay in the moment. If you just stay in the moment, like, everything's still ahead of Nebraska, and those guys, the players and the staff, they're not afforded the luxury to just throw their hands up and say, all right, scrap it, start over. Like, you have to incrementally try to build. He's clearly raised the floor. You just have to see where the ceiling is.
Well, and we also have to let the season play out. Like, I think one of the things that's challenging with college football is that you're told that perfection is the goal, which is an insane goal. Like, it's a stupid goal. And college football doesn't exist.
Yeah,
in
that
the way
version
that
of
it
college
used to.
football doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, you guys
so,
would hate Coach Osborne, because once a day he would say, perfection is out there somewhere. Let's go get it. Every day he said that.
It's different.
Would it be better
internally versus externally, though?
But so should I say perfection is a standard, is a stupid standard? Is that a better way to put it?
It's your word. It's your world, Rihanna. You say what you want.
Thank you. I'll spare you from the singing. And this isn't to say, and this is what always bothers me too, because then you'll get the people that are like claiming that you're trying to gaslight them into thinking that this is a good football team. And that's not my job. I mean, you can have any opinion you want on this football team. That's yours to have. And you can go in with any perception you have. I just try to explain to people what I'm seeing, what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling, what I'm hearing, and all of that. And so, coming into last week, like, I thought it was a big game. I thought it was a great opportunity. I thought it set well on the schedule for Nebraska. I didn't think Michigan was a version of itself that came here in 2023. And I thought Nebraska had the opportunity to get a really big win. They didn't do it. But I also last week recall saying, like, hey, the season doesn't end if they lose on Saturday. Like, there's a reason. And this happens every year when Nebraska loses a game, every single year. we go into the year and it's like, hey, what are your predictions? Like, what do you think their record's going to be? Like, I don't know, man. I think they're going to be like 8-4, 7-5. And you know what has to happen to be 8-4 and 7-5? You lose football games. No one in the Nebraska media stood in front of the fan base and said, yeah, they're going to go 12-0. They're going to be a college football playoff team. You're going to see them in January. They're going to be playing for a national title. Nobody did that. So if you are upset today or Monday or Sunday or Saturday, and you're like, oh, I was told Nebraska was going to be this and was going to be that, you're lying to yourself. Nearly every media member told you that this was a 9-3 to a 7-5 team. Almost every one of them. Some might have said 6-6. There might have been some 10-2 pie in the sky people there. But every one of those involves a loss. So it has to happen somewhere on the schedule. Like, right? Like, that's how the logic in this works.
I'm trying to find the 10-2 people. I can't see the 10-2 people around here. But you're right. Like, I mean, they all involve multiple losses, right? Like, even in my 10-2, I sit there and I go, okay, I'm looking at this schedule and I go, okay, there's 3 games that are going to matter to Nebraska fans in terms of measuring stick type games. It's going to be Michigan, USC, and Penn State. I don't think we get credit for Iowa, right? Nebraska fans.
I think it's 3.5 because it's like, well, they just need to win that game to prove that they're better than Iowa. Sure. But they're not going to be like, oh, you beat Iowa. What a great season.
Right. Yeah. You're not going to be like, oh, they finally got over the hump. That's the big win, right? It's just like, yeah, we're supposed to beat Iowa. Like, that's how Nebraska fans feel, whether it's true or not. So in order for Nebraska to go 10-2, the pie in the sky 10-2, some would say, I don't know who would say that, but in order to go 10-2, you have to lose 2 of those 3 games. Like, it is required.
Yes, on the nose.
It is required.
You don't have to, but the prediction is suggesting that they will lose 2 games. Yes.
Yes. In my mind, as I'm making I think very realistic prediction, 10-2, you have to lose 2 games somewhere. And to be totally honest, Michigan, USC, and Penn State are really the only acceptable teams to lose to. If you're a fan, right? You sit here and you go, yeah, if you're a fan, if you're a Nebraska fan.
But the majority picked 8-4. Okay, I'll let you finish. I apologize. Let me hear you.
But a lot of the people who pick 8-4 understand that at least one of those losses is going to be a team that Nebraska fans are going to be pissed about. Like, that doesn't mean it's not going to happen.
As an example, with the last time I did this, I picked Nebraska to beat Michigan and then lose to Michigan State. So if Nebraska goes and beats Michigan State, they are in the exact same spot that I thought they would be going into the Maryland game,
as is
which I would have them winning,
it's
and then losing to Minnesota.
Population.
Yeah, like it's so.
The only difference
this happened
is
when they lost to
people
Illinois last year. This happens when Nebraska loses their first game almost every year. It's a reminder that when you lose a game, all of the people who said, hey, they're probably going to lose 4 or 5 games, that was one of those games that they, that's how this works.
Hey, so let me ask you something, Mike J. Are you one of those guys? I mean, you have to be. You're human, right? So you're going to watch games.
Let me check on that.
So there is a robotic trait to you.
It's an M. Night Shyamalan movie.
I'm like, but he doesn't have any feelings.
Why you got to go straight to the Indian guy, Schaefer?
Wait, 10-2. 10-2, man.
It went to one of our biggest twist makers in cinema history. I thought it was a compliment.
Oh, okay. No, we claim him. It's cool.
I love the Sixth
because you clearly you're kind of consistent. I listen to you every week, and I know there is no real referendum in you. You're very fluid with kind of how it goes, but there is got to be this part of you though, where you're going to score watch and you're going to think you get an idea of what's to happen. Let me give you 2 games to take a look at: Ohio State and Washington, or Indiana and Iowa. For you, based on what you think about the Big Ten, slot those 2 games, and I'm going to give you the third.
Okay, so pick one over the other. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Just kind of slot them, and then tell me why you think they will help your pecking order.
So for me, if I'm just a viewer picking this game, I'm picking to watch Ohio State play Washington, because Washington is a team that I felt like is a bit of a sleeper in the Big Ten. I've watched them a little bit this year. I was unimpressed by when they played Colorado State. They really had to kind of grind that thing out. Ohio State, like, they have looked good. They beat Texas. I'm curious, like, what the upper echelon of this conference looks like, and I'm curious where a Washington would be. And frankly, some of this is I don't enjoy watching Iowa on my television screen. So, I mean, if I'm being entirely honest, it's not the type of football that I really want to watch more often than not. I did watch a lot of that Rutgers-Iowa game on Friday. It played out
crazy
in
cover.
a insane fashion to me, where Iowa looked absolutely terrible for much of that game and still won by 10 points. I don't understand how it happened. They didn't even look like classic Iowa. And I don't know what to make of Indiana, because I didn't get to watch any of the Indiana-Illinois game. When I saw it, it was like 7-7. And then the next time I saw the score in that game, it was like a bajillion and a half to 10. So I don't think that bodes well for an Iowa defense that didn't look good in Piscataway. So, we'll see what that ultimately looks like. What's the third? I'm curious what the third game is, because there was a game that I was really excited to watch coming into this weekend that I'm no longer as enthusiastic about.
I think this is the game that I still think can move your needle. USC at Illinois.
Yeah, that was a circle bye week. Mike Schaefer sitting down with his cheese and his crackers and his snacks, and he's going to watch this game like a true college football fan, because I have been high on USC in the offseason. I felt like the Illinois stuff was a little overblown, and what Indiana did to Illinois last week is what I kind of thought was going to happen in that USC game, and now it doesn't. Now I'm a little bit annoyed by it, because I don't get to do my victory lap thing, and I don't get to
listen. USC may lose.
You think they're going to lose?
I'm going to call this on Friday. Like,
oh
no!
no!
Final predict. You watch what I tell you. Listen, this game for sure. You better take Illinois if you're going to eat the 6.5. I don't know what to tell you. Don't do it. Don't do it, Mike J.
You think USC may not cover, but you think they're going to lose the football
and I
game
actually
outright?
think yes.
Wow.
I'll get jeez, man. So let's go back to that whole robot human thing.
I thought it was robot chicken.
I'm fairly high on this USC team. So
No, me too. Me too.
Some of it is I just don't see how they lose that game. I think they have better athletes.
I penned SC for 9. Let me tell you what happens though. Emotions. Illinois left for dead. Still got a ton of experience. Really, really good football team. SC ink may still be a little wet on the old fingertips from reading about themselves. Sleepy Town of Champaign at 11. Sleepy Town.
It will not be awake at 11. Maybe for that game.
You know who will be awake?
Kevin Sue.
Illinois.
I would say you've never been to the pain if you think they're asleep at 11.
Listen, Illinois will be awake.
I've been to the pain. I don't want to go back to the pain.
I thought it was Pagney. We going back with pain?
Yeah, they like to call it the pain when they're trying to be tough.
Oh, fudge.
Might as well call it Urbana, because what's the difference? Nobody cares there either.
All right. Well, is there a water tower, and is there the annexation of Puerto Rico?
Oh, the people versus Urbana. The people of Urbana definitely care about the Champaign-Urbana deal.
You're probably Kevin, aren't you? Catching a roll of toilet paper. Schaefer, let me ask you about the biggie. I skipped it because I think all eyes will be on it, even though it's the same time as Bama, Georgia. How much do you think you'll learn from Penn State, Oregon?
I don't know, because Penn State has started this season as unimpressively as possible. Like it's almost like their mission is to be the most
just get there
double-digit win team that's ever existed.
Yeah.
And I remember last year these two teams played in the Big Ten championship game, and the conventional wisdom was this is just going to be a blowout. Oregon's going to roll. And then that turned into like one of the more exciting kind of games of the season. Do you guys remember watching that at all?
Yeah, points of plenty.
Yeah.
And it looked like it was Drew Aller's coming out party. And then it kind of made me feel like the path that Penn State had in the playoff was going to be pretty good. And so, but when I have watched Penn State this year, and it wasn't the Villanova game, it was the Florida International I had on, and I don't know if it was like a disinterest or it almost feels like they've spent 3 weeks just sort of hanging out, waiting to play a game that matters. And I don't know how good that is, when you're going against a guy in Dan Lanning that has Michael Jordan level of disdain and seek for motivation from his opponents. And sometimes it's very real, like with Dion and Mike Gundy. And sometimes he's just playing it up to extremes, I would imagine, behind the scenes. So I don't know that I'm going to walk out of the game with either team being the winner and thinking that's definitely the best team in the Big Ten. Like, I'm not sure that I'm ready to say that without Ohio State being involved. And maybe if Penn State comes out and they control the game, I will feel better about them. But as someone who thought that they were your national champions, I haven't been super impressed by them through 3 weeks or their 3 games that they played so far.
Mike Schaefer, our guy.
Can I
have one more? Go ahead.
Yeah, because I
got nowhere to be.
No, you're just fascinating.
Bye week.
So, have you taken a look at the slate of games like the times?
No, I haven't. One of the fascinating things about me that I will admit very upfront, I have no idea on a college football Saturday what time anyone is playing because I cover the Nebraska Cornhuskers, and chances are I will be in that stadium watching that team play while other games are going on. And then, depending on what time I can get out of that stadium, I might be able to get home in time to watch a game that's at like 9 o'clock at night or 10 o'clock at night. So if you're not playing in the super late time slot, I don't get to watch enough of you to really care what time you're playing. So it's like, if I don't have to leave early to go to a game, I'll turn it on at 11 and throw the quad box on and like, oh, wow, this game's at 11 a.m. Oh, this is the big noon. I have no idea. I am almost a college football casual because of the nature of the job that I have.
All right. So assuming that Huddy is just going to be having a good breakfast and Shelby isn't going to be slamming back mimosas, let's just be objective here. So you got games like Notre Dame, Arkansas, Rutgers, Minnesota. I think Cincinnati, Kansas is interesting.
That's a good game.
K-State is actually favored against UCF, USC, Illinois. What else is early? That's about it for the early tilt versus, in Indiana, Iowa's at 2:30. So that one's dab smack in the middle. But late, you obviously get Ohio State. Oh, no, that's 2:30.
The 2:30 window is loaded.
So you get 11. Well, kind of. It's not like 6:30.
Well, you got 2 games at 6:30. At 2:30, you've got Ohio State, Washington, LSU, Ole Miss, Auburn, A&M, Indiana, Iowa, and then at 3:15, you have Tennessee, Mississippi State. That's a loaded window.
Schaefer's rolling his eyes. I wanted to fast forward.
I'm not rolling my eyes.
Okay,
but
so
not in my head. I went like this.
You get 2 games.
That's not.
All right, so let me give you this one. Arizona at Iowa State, Oregon, Penn State, Alabama, Georgia, Kentucky, South Kakalaki. If you have to go early, middle, late, which one will you say to Shelby, hey, can you do something with Huddy? Like, Daddy's working here. Like,
we're gonna go to like the Bennington Founders Day farmers market thing in the morning.
You're so all integrated already. It's sick.
And
really,
and get him involved with that early, and then I'm gonna get back at like 11 o'clock. We'll get him some lunch. The games will be on. He'll be eating lunch. He'll go down for a nap at like 12, and then I'm gonna find a way to get out of the house. That's the game plan. If Shelby's listening, that's what's happening on Saturday. So.
Oh, shoot. All right. Well, I just wanted to say congratulations on your win. I think Cincinnati's in big trouble.
It didn't look great.
They better hope that toe gets better in a hurry.
So you think I shouldn't be sad about not having a quality quarterback in Sam Darnold when I could have guys like, Will Fries and Ryan Kelly who are banged up every single week and a couple 30-year-old defensive linemen, and I should be more fired up about that than a quarterback that can complete passes downfield in an offense that has Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson, Jalen Naylor, Jordan Mason. You can just turn around and hand the ball to.
The funniest innocuous response on Twitter. I was in tears.
What was it?
Like, I'll show you.
Okay.
And he and I are going back and forth, and I finally just had to close with, "Man, you were special."
Schaefer.
And then I'll take it.
I got
told that a lot in a lot of different contexts, I'm sure.
Do you actually believe that JJ McCarthy's injured?
I think that I think he's got like an injury in the way that everybody that plays in the NFL is banged up. I don't think it's something he couldn't have played through. I do think that they needed to kind of right the ship a little bit. And we talk about injuries, and not all injuries are the same. Like Minnesota's a different team when they have Christian Darrisaw than when they don't have Christian Darrisaw. Like having your left tackle means TJ Hawkinson can go run routes, and everybody that's mad about taking him in fantasy realize that he's still in the NFL on week 3. So, it means that you're not just under siege from the left side because you have a backup left tackle who has no business playing. So Darrisaw changed the outlook of how everything looked offensively. Carson Wentz was nothing special, but he didn't really have to be, because you had Minnesota's offense is loaded. Like they have all sorts of talent. And that's why having a league average to slightly above average quarterback would go a long way. And we don't know what McCarthy is yet. And I'm pretty sure Carson Wentz is somewhere between like the 30th best guy, or if there's bye weeks, like the 26th best guy starting most weeks. So is that going to be enough? I don't know.
Schaefer, off at first blush, what's the only division where everybody has a winning record?
It's the NFC West.
Correct.
They're all 2-1. Or well, no, the 49ers are 3-0.
3-0, baby.
I will tell you, and I actually just had this conversation with somebody else. I think the Seahawks are the best team in that division. With all the apologies to Ravi's, better than the Rams. All the apologies to Ravi's 3-0 49ers.
Oh, we're not.
That injury list is piling up. That's going to be tough to overcome. Also, it kind of cuts deep that Mac Jones can basically do an impersonation of Brock Purdy, and get the same results.
He actually can do a pretty good Chubba Purdy impression, to be fair.
Well, they're still winning games.
No, he actually looks very different than Brock Purdy. You're not gonna get me on that today.
And I also, real quickly, while talking NFC West, Jackson Smith-Njigba is outstanding.
So good.
The amount of incredible wide receivers in the NFL, like St. Brown last night, was just undeniable.
He was the toughest guy on the field, arguably.
Yeah, I like the wide receiver play in the NFL right now is just incredible to me. Like it has to be so frustrating to be a defensive back. You're not allowed to do anything.
You can't even blow on them without everybody crying.
And then these guys can just make catches with either no space or can run routes that are just unbelievably precise. Or you have great play callers. Like it is a wonderful time to be a quarterback in the NFL with all of the wide receiver talent that's out
there. Can I just say real quick, you brought up Smith-Njigba. I was watching Emeka Egbuka over the weekend as well.
How sweet were those Tampa Bay uniforms?
Oh, I love them. I love the creamsicles.
They are just off the chain.
Can I just say, this is why I have such a hard time with the Jeremiah Smith thing. I get that he's very good. I've seen incredible receivers be pumped out by Ohio State University every single year. Like you're gonna have a hard time.
Like Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave.
I had the first hot take, and everybody was mad at me. I was like, listen, he's really good. Even he can't live up to the hype. He's overrated, and he's still a great player.
I think he's a great player. I just don't know why I think that he's any better than Jackson Smith-Njigba,
That's my point.
who I thought was the best wide receiver I've seen in person when he came in.
He's not better than Marvin Harrison Jr.
We haven't even said Marvin Harrison Jr. yet, although tough week for our guy. He's not.
Kyler is a little weird.
He's not any better than. I don't think he's any better than any of the other, who are all great players, by the way. Not any better than any of the other Ohio State receivers we've seen pumped out into the league over the last.
It's an incredible pipeline.
It's ridiculous.
Ibuka looks. I mean,
I said this last year.
The end of the game, it's like they're just going to go to Ibuka, and there he is.
He's playing hurt.
And that was a catch. That was a catch along the sidelines, and the NFL didn't review it.
I said this last year. I was like, I'm not even sure Jeremiah Smith's the best receiver on his team. Ibuka's incredible.
It was.
All right,
I love that pick for Tampa. Tampa is my NFC Super Bowl representative.
So we have I think, Schaefer, we have the exact same Super Bowl matchup. Are you Ravens Buccaneers?
No, I'm Bills Buccaneers.
Okay, I'm Ravens Buccaneers. All right, let me get you out on this.
I'm going to take the Bills every year until they finally win one or get there. One of the two.
Law of averages, baby. Who's closer to being what their record says they are right now? The Colts or the Chargers?
Oh, the Chargers.
Definitely the Chargers.
I think the Chargers are.
You guys realize the Colts play in the AFC South?
Yeah, no, and I get that.
And they're physical.
And Daniel Jones still exists.
I feel like there's at least one or two teams every year that wins games in weeks 1 through 3. And like the Saints were this a couple years ago or last year.
We just talked about the 49ers are this right now. The 49ers aren't very good.
Hot take. I'm telling you, the Colts.
I will say I think Daniel Jones his career wasn't over. Like, I would have liked to seen him stay in Minnesota, and I think that would have went pretty well. But you know, so I think Indy's fine. I'm not ready to put them anywhere near the Buffalo, Baltimore Chargers tier of the AFC. I mean, they're probably behind the Chiefs for me too, so that means they're at least fifth. They're probably right there with Jacksonville, who not that good, but I think they're going to be an AFC playoff team.
You don't like Kwity Paye, like DeForest Buckner and Latu? Like, Indy's pretty good.
I'm not saying that they're not solid. I just don't know that I believe that they're in that, like, classification of the best teams in the AFC are significantly better than.
Yeah, I know. Daniel Jones is like, is he like the rest of the guys?
Well, I like Jonathan Taylor, and if he keeps looking like that, I mean, you know,
he's a monster.
He's really it's fun when players remind you, like, they go away for like 2 years, and then they remind you, like, hey, I used to be pretty good.
Yeah.
You used to say I was the best running back in the league. Here I am, still pretty good.
And he's got fresh legs too.
Yeah, he really does. He looks good. Indy looks good, but I can't get there mentally yet. Maybe I will. But I just can't put them on the same level as some of these other teams.
Do you know why I asked you the question the way I did? Because I've been honking for both teams, so I'm gonna be right either way. Because everybody never believes in the Chargers, and
nobody loves Daniel Jones more.
I'm
than
like, they're
DB.
gonna be winning that division, and Ravi hates Herbert. And then I turned around and I boxed myself.
Who's the seventh team in the AFC?
I don't hate Herbert.
Do you know who
really like Harbaugh though.
Do you know who I thought it was gonna be?
I think it's gonna be Cincinnati somehow still.
No way. Do you know who I thought it was going to be? Like, before the season started? I thought it was going to be the Patriots.
I mean, I could have seen it as like a 9-8, but I think Cincinnati can tread enough water for Burrow to come back. I do.
Dude, they rot defensively.
They had a bad day. You know, anytime
Schaefer,
a guy can
he's off Rihanna, he's back on Daniel Powder.
No, I mean, anytime you got a guy that can return an interception and a fumble and force a fumble all in the same game, the greatest Pro Football Focus performance in the history of Pro Football Focus, you know, that's tough. That's tough to beat. Get the Rodgers jerseys out in Minnesota.
Also,
is him.
Also tough to replicate.
This might be the greatest 40 minutes in sports.
Schaefer,
right here.
we appreciate the time.
There she is.
All right. Yeah, look at that. What a way to go out. Thanks for having me on, guys. Enjoy your bye week.
Round of applause.
Enjoy your bye. See you, Schaefer.
See ya.
If
that was 40 minutes of chaos.
Yeah, I would love to get you a read at some point.
Wait, should I let you do one of those?
Yeah.
Shane, we better kill the music.
No, it's fine. I can do it during the music.
And let your boy Ravi L3.
I just want to tell you about our friends over at Centris.
Okay, go
They're
ahead.
our guys, and they know. Listen, when's the last time you've been to a bank branch? I have no idea.
No.
It's because I got my finances right at my fingertips with Centris, Federal Credit Union, and their app. Go check them out, centrisfcu.org, to open an account today, federally insured by NCUA, and have your money at your fingertips 24/7. We'll be back. Hurrdat Sports Live.
We asked fans to say something nice about each other. Let's see what everybody has to say.
I would say the one thing I like about Michigan is Taylor Lewan.
This place has been great. Everybody's really nice to us.
Nebraska has the nicest people. Go Big Red.
Well, I'm glad they beat Alabama a couple of years ago.
Just a volleyball school, you know, and that's all there is to it.
Say something nice about Michigan? No, there's nothing really nice about Michigan.
Not even the lakes?
Never been there, so never plan on going, never will. If I had to say it, though, I would say Michigan. What is good about Michigan?
The reason that we came is because all of the Michigan fans who have ever been to Lincoln say this is the best place for away fans. And that's actually why we came. Everybody's really nice. They say, have a good game even though we're the opponent. So the Huskers have a great reputation in Ann Arbor, which is where we're from.
Today's Fan on the Street was brought to you by Warhorse Sportsbook and Casino.
Imagine your first dream home. and the feeling of walking inside for the first time. With Centrist Federal Credit Union's First Time Home Buyers program, you are at the doorstep of bringing your vision to life. Welcome home. From your neighborhood mortgage experts, Centrist Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. Don't forget, it's Tuesday. That means kids eat free with the purchase of an adult entree. Make sure you get in here to La Vista or Gretna to take advantage of that great deal. We're here now to talk to our friend, our colleague, our coworker, Avarie Howard of Hurrdat Sports. What's up, Ave?
Hey, guys. What's going on?
Oh, I'm just slapping Ravi around. Schaefer's pretty funny. We kept that guy for 40 minutes. It was a lot of foolishness.
Yeah, it was a fun conversation. I actually liked the part he talked about where Nebraska had to lose in order to have, a loss on the record. I thought that was a pretty brilliant point.
You know what made that funny,
Most
Dave?
people say 3 loss. Like, where was the first one going to come?
You know what made that funny? Is usually when he's being super matter of fact and a little snarky, it's directed at me. So I was tickled to see it directed at the 10-2 guy over here. And he was talking about pie in the sky, and I was like, I don't know if you're going to be able to land the plane. It's like lemon meringue or one of those other bad pies, because you're in big trouble here doing the math.
No. Hey, they had your cookies this week, though.
My dumb butt, Ave, I yelled it out loud. I was like, oh my gosh, the oatmeal raisin cookies have made a comeback.
So were there any there when you got there?
Yeah, there were. So
there was plenty, because nobody wants those.
Yeah, okay, buddy.
They're trash.
There may have been
a lot available.
3 or 4 rows, Ave. May have been 3 or 4 rows of oatmeal raisin cookies. Do you know what? I was today years old when I figured out, when you loiter and stay there long enough, sulking and pouting, that they bring in that plain label pizza. I had no idea.
They do, and they bring it down to the press conference room too. Yeah, and it took a little while this last weekend, and you should have heard the media room.
They were in an uproar.
It wasn't a happy group. And then all of a sudden, people were like, "Oh my God, there's plates! There's plates! There's plates!" So that was the temperature of that room. So
I made the mistake yesterday, Ave. I forgot my bag, and so I shot down to Lincoln real quick, and where everybody was trying to put out a 3-alarm fire, wondering why. I just wanted a shaving kit. I poked my head over in the indoor complex because I wanted to say hi to a couple of guys, and like 10:50, and they're already getting ready for the presser. Mm-hmm. So I went back to the studio. And Coach Rhule was getting ready to do the coaches show with a couple of folks. And I'm like, you could just tell by his tenor, this was going to be a pretty informative press conference. Was that kind of your takeaway, where he made sure he covered all his bases for all the talking points for us media folks this week?
Yeah. I think he actually does a pretty good job about that. You look at last year too, there'd be losses and Keith would say, "Hey, okay, 1 more, 2 more." And he's like, no, I got time. I'll answer them. I know people are curious. And I think he does that for a couple of reasons. One, I think his transparency is something that a lot of people appreciate about him, because I think he is willing to share what's truly going on. Because if not, I think he knows the direction that it also goes if he's short and he doesn't offer a good amount of information. And so I think he would rather be the one to be straight up and upfront with people and let them know, hey, this is where we're at. This is really what I'm saying in meetings. This is really what I'm hearing from players. So when the stories are written or the fans are communicating, they know what's actually going on versus making, whatever assumption they want to, whether that's going to happen or not. But I think Rhule doesn't mind sharing where they're truly at. And so yesterday, I think he answered a lot of those questions. And I think a lot of them, I think you guys said it earlier, I think a lot of them are really important. Because in full transparency, like my job as a reporter, I'm not supposed to go tell everyone how Nebraska football should play football. That's not the responsibility. It's not the role that I have. But when Coach Rhule is able to tell us certain things, I'm the vessel of curiosity, right? So I texted you in the middle of the game at one point, hey, what's breaking down on some of these explosive plays? I'm not sitting up there in a press box looking at it live, real time, knowing what's going on.
Yeah.
And for you to sit there and explain it to me in a few steps allowed me to watch the game a tad bit differently. And I think that's something that Coach Rhule does really well, is he offers a few things that allows us to think a little bit differently. So when we are watching the game or we go back and watch it, we're analyzing maybe a little bit more critically, because we're not the ones sitting here being like, well, Nebraska should be doing this, this, and this. I'm not in that film room with them. So it's interesting when he does give us that kind of information. So I can go back and watch now the plays today and be like, okay, I understand why that broke down. So from a reporter's standpoint and being, you know, like I said, the vessel of curiosity for a fan base, I do appreciate when he is transparent in that way.
Man, that might need to be a T-shirt, vessel of curiosity. You know what's funny? Because you said it. And you know, I'm super authentic. I'll tell you where I'm bad and where I'm good. And I get it. Some of the guys, oh, you know, he's a savant, or, you know, Kyle, he watches games differently. It's not the savant part. I am a thinker, but do you know what really allows you to like ask me a question real time and I can think about it and give you an answer? I know I'm being listened to real time. So it keeps me in check.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm just at my house or I'm in front of my own TV with a clicker, I may not give you the same answer real time. But because
you know what your job is in that moment.
I know what my job is in the moment. It helps corral my thoughts. Like, so I'm benefiting from not being able to just go crazy like I maybe would want to. It forces me to kind of sit back and be analytical.
It's almost like if you're playing a football game and you have people around you that you're responsible to, that you need to stay locked in and do your job.
Sure.
I think there's a corollary there.
There is.
I just mean your skill set from playing maybe translates a little bit to the booth.
That is.
You can take that for what you will if you want.
Wow, what is wrong with you?
I don't know. It's Avarie's fault.
Avery, he's been on one all morning.
Yesterday, as soon as the show was over yesterday, she gets me all gassed up about some stuff on the internet. And then last night, when I'm about to choose violence,
I calmed you down. I calmed you down.
She's like, Ravi, don't do it. She's like, give it 24 hours. Think on it.
So was it about am I privy? Like,
it's the same thing I sent you.
Oh,
in the group chat.
I said, don't stoop down to that level. I said, take a deep breath.
She said, give it 24 hours.
So
I got to be honest, in 24 hours, I still might send it.
No, you won't.
So, Abe,
yes.
Did the press conference yesterday and rewatching the game, do you have more questions or answers?
That's a good question. Well, one, the reason why I bring up the things that I was texting you about in the game, it was interesting to hear Coach Rhule be really transparent yesterday and say, hey, like we need to look at, is it schematics or is it just maybe not having players in the right position? Because I think who was the run in the third quarter that made it the 27?
Harmon.
Yeah. That run, I think it was.
No, it's Marshall.
It's Marshall.
Whatever that one was, whatever run it was, that's when I texted you.
Yep.
And then when I went back and watched it after listening to Coach Rhule speak, there were a few rushers that Nebraska had in the secondary that looked like they were about to go smoke him. And then because of your text, I was able to watch that and say, oh, it's because they were blocking at a second and third level, where I think Watson Trent looks like he runs into a brick wall. And that's why you can't.
I like Buddha's got to fit that better.
Right.
Watson Trent's a little slow. Guthrie's playing man. I'm sending you the picture that I sent.
Yeah, you sent me this
that yesterday. I sent Ravi. It's like I want to tweet these things out like real time. I just don't know if that does anybody any good, because I don't know. I always worry, Ave, if we can handle the information that comes with being inquisitive. So that's why I like when you said you're kind of the vessel, because it's not your responsibility to like control the feelings after people get the answer they're asking. It's you just want to have the answer. The questions that people are asking. Sometimes I get a little scared that, well, I'll tell them what I think is happening, but I still have to pit it against how they feel about it originally. Like, I know it's going to be perceived through whatever prism that their vantage point is.
Yeah, and I think you can't control that. And I think that's the big thing too when I say that is I have such a huge privilege, we all do obviously, of sitting front row to hearing Coach Rhule speak and these players speak and just the tunnels I get to stand in and watching the conversations between players and things of that nature. So that allows me, I think, probably to have a more informed perspective on when I'm watching things or just how players react to certain things. But I think I find it fascinating when I do get to ask you because it allows me to, like I said earlier, watch things a little bit differently. And then when I mix it with what I've heard from Coach Rhule, the players speak about other players or whatever it is, okay, that lines up. That makes sense. So for a lot of it, for me, it's a kind of the connecting of the dots. And sometimes I wish I would challenge whether it's fans or whether it's not even local fans. It's, the conversation we heard yesterday with Coach Rhule and the whole Dylan thing, like just challenging ourselves to be a tad bit more curious or inquisitive to go figure it out before we just blame it on X, Y, and Z, because I think that's where you're coming from, Damon, too. You can tell them what you want to, what you're saying, but the easy answer is X or the easy answer is Y. So that's once again, also why I really appreciate how transparent Coach Rhule is, because I mean, he's watching the game from an eye level. He's not seeing it from an all 22 right after the game. He's seeing it from essentially some of our perspective too. So he doesn't have all the answers immediately. And I don't think I would want to hear from a head coach right after the game who comes in and says it was blah, 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 and blah, 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 because does he really know? I would, as a player, I would hope, unless they're looking at the iPad or they have time at halftime. But if I had a head coach who's telling me immediately they know it's X, Y, and Z without really looking at it, I don't know how honest that is either.
Yeah, I would have to imagine if that were the case, it would have to be something probably not technical, like not scheme related. That is something that they had already thought was going to be a problem from practice that just showed up and they're like, oh yeah, that was a problem.
And I also think that's kind of, take it what a positive and a negative. When Coach Rhule told us last week the three things that he was a tad bit nervous about, they still showed up in the game on Saturday. Kicking game was better. But I think it's a positive that it's not necessarily a Michigan thing. It's something that Nebraska has ownership of, that they can go to practice and say, okay, we've been challenged now by four different opponents, 2 Power 4, 2 not Power 4, and it's still our issue. How are we going to fix it? Or the negative is that they still haven't been able to truly tweak it to where they want to be. But I think it was interesting to hear Coach Rhule say, hey, red zone and some of the tackling in space or big explosive plays, running game, are still an issue. And I think now Nebraska has an opportunity with a bye week to be like, this is not going to show up again in week 5.
So it was last week or whenever we called him and he said, yeah, he was given the stats on the inside the 5 and it was only at 66%. Said, oh, that's horrific. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't mean we need to have a talk show about it. Like, 100%. Do we? And I kind of chuckled and I was like, oh shoot, is that for us? Like, whatever. So you remove it. And then yesterday he says, hey, there's some things that I've got to look at. And I have to be careful as a head coach when I say this. Mm-hmm. Are you appreciative of that? Do you want to just see him like let it? And he is kind of letting it rip. But do you want him to take a definitive? What does leadership look like to you when he's answering questions and he's trying to process through the greater good, knowing good and well at the end of the day, he's going to be critiqued regardless. He still takes the greater good stance.
For sure. We heard this last year where we started to realize that he wasn't really just speaking to the media and the fans. Like he's speaking to everyone within his building. And so I think that's also why he's pretty careful about how he says things, because this is a coaching staff that rarely likes to single out players unless it's something that they're really willing to highlight. And Coach Rhule, I think, probably is the one that sets that standard there and how they speak about their players. But I think he knows how often his players are probably listening or how often his staff is listening. And I think he wants to make sure it's interpreted the right way, especially if players do come up, or even yesterday when they talked about the second running back position. I don't think he wants that to be taken out of context if his players are listening to it. Because I think at the end of the day, how he speaks as a leader, it does trickle down because their players or the families of players are going to be listening to it. It's not always just us. And so I think that's why he's also careful about what he says. Because if he goes up there and says things carelessly, how does that affect if the players are listening? And I think there's been a lot of times where he says, I want my players to hear this, or I want my players to understand. So I think he's not always speaking directly to us. And he wants his players to know, hey, when I'm speaking not to you and about you, to other people, this is how I speak about you.
How did it land with you when he said, hey, I have to be careful I say this as a head coach, but I asked our staff when he's in reference to the number 2 running back and how that was going to go down? Like, what was your takeaway from how he kind of answered that question?
Honestly, I really liked it. And I knew immediately people were going to be, oh my gosh, we don't even know. They don't know, blah, blah, blah. I liked it because the part where he said, that's not always on the players and them getting more production. That comes on us too, because we have to find ways to better get production out of it. He
quietly put it on the staff he gave them some skin in the game. Like, okay, whatever you tell me, you better make happen.
Yeah. And I also just,
that's kind of how I took it.
And I think if you want an honest head coach or an honest coaching staff, like me and you have talked about this, they weren't going to get better from what they had done in the preseason. And I think they needed a game like Michigan to figure out truly where they're at. And I think, a loss exposes you. You can't hide. And I think that was a huge area. I mean, you look at their total rushing yards, it was 43 yards. Like, I think that's a moment where it's okay. It worked in the first few weeks, but now we really need to figure this out. And I think why not have an honest conversation when this is the point in their season that these hard questions need to be asked. And I don't know. There's a lot of panic because everyone wants to say the head coach doesn't even know X, Y, and Z. But that's kind of the point of having these ups and downs of a season is to try and figure things out, obviously. So I didn't have an issue with it. And I mean, maybe it's the athlete part of me who knows what it's like to be on a roster where you're moving things around, you're changing certain formations, and certain players get different roles. And now they're being like, hey, if we're going to go this direction, we need to add more of a role to this person. I don't think it's end all be all that he said that. And if that's the conversations they're having, like, wow, how maybe it's a privilege that we're understanding what conversations are happening directly in the coaches meeting. When's the last time? I don't know the last time media has heard that. So there's that level of transparency that he's sharing. But two, I just appreciate that he was like, it's not always a player's thing, but we have to be better too about getting the best out of our players. And I know that's really important to him.
What are you kind of hearing in your circles? And we'll get you out on this. I apologize if I cut Ravi off. But,
good.
You heard him reference, like Carter Nelson or the number 2 backs, or, we'll see what happens at inside linebacker in terms of that growth and development, the health of the secondary.
Mm-hmm.
What are you looking forward to understanding during the bye week as it relates to Michigan State?
It's a good question. I think something he said earlier in the press conference kind of is where my mind immediately goes. And it was the question about Elijah Pritchett a little bit, and just talking about, every player that plays for us, whether it's a transfer or a guy that's already playing for us, like, we care about him more than just the name on that jersey. And so I think when you take part of that conversation mixed with challenging the staff to get more out of their players, or what do these certain positions look like, whether it's left tackle or, like you said, the inside linebacker position or running back, how can we have more of a dialed in focus on some of these things now that we've truly been challenged? Yes, we were able to get through it in the first 3 weeks. And I feel like we're learning a lot about our guys. But this is what Coach Rhule said too yesterday. Like, this is when they're going to learn the most. Like, which guys are going to step up in the next week and a half when they've hit their first wall of adversity, that they know, okay, these are our true guys. These are the guys that are responding. And so I think there's that aspect of it too. Like, how are the guys responding in practice? I think will tell them a lot as well. Because for a lot of these guys, whether they are a transfer, they haven't been through adversity with Nebraska yet, or if they've been on this team previously, they've faced adversity. Are they facing it differently? Are they standing up as a leader? Something like, not to spin off real quickly, but something that I found really interesting was the dialogue at the end of this game being about which direction this team's going to go. For some reason, that really surprised me. I did not expect, I didn't even think that was going to be a question. I don't mean question from like media. I just mean in general. Like, I feel like if we've learned anything about the demeanor of this team, I don't feel like direction of the season. It was surprising to me. I don't know. Maybe it's because of the conversations we've had preseason, whether it was the Dylan interview or just watching the way this team interacts with one another. For some reason, that just surprised me. I don't feel like this team was going to take this loss and be like, well, so be it. Here we go. We got X amount of games in front of us. We're just going to coast this one out. So I think that those positions will be dictated by the way this team responds. And I'm not questioning this team's response. I think this is a really close team. One that Damon, you've even said, I feel like is closer than we've seen in a while. Yeah. But it'll be interesting based on that response, how those certain specific position groups, do we see different faces, or is it the guys that had a tough week step up bigger than we expect?
As a very wise man once said, you can't go 10-2 without losing 2. So
lemon meringue pie in the sky.
That's Avarie Howard, our Hurrdat Sports friend. Avarie,
You
great stuff.
seem like a big lemon meringue guy.
Nah. Listen, I'm, I know not everybody knows this. I'm an American. I like apple pie.
Wow.
I was born in Omaha. You know that, DB?
Yeah.
Avarie, we appreciate. What's that?
I said we know.
Yeah, it's just too
much. What high school you go to?
Big Omaha guy. Oh, Miller North. Let me tell you about. Never mind. We'll get to that later. Another day. Maybe during basketball season. We're a basketball school now. I don't know if you know that. Avarie, we appreciate the time as always. We'll talk to you later.
Okay, bye.
Thanks, Dave.
That's the show for today. That's DB. I'm Ravi. Lulla. It's Hurrdat Sports Live. We will be back tomorrow, as long as DB doesn't kill me in the meantime. You never know.
You're good.
I'm good today.
You have work to do, and I got another stop.
I got work to do?
Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
Apparently.
Oh, yeah. I thought you meant for you.
I have my own work to do.
Yeah, you got to go help out the kids. That's DB. I'm Ravi. Lulla. It's Hurrdat Sports Live. We'll be back tomorrow.
See you. Have a good day. Love you.